HelloFresh is also an owner of Factor. So Factor is pre-made meal plans. If you don't like to cook your own meals with HelloFresh, you can use the link in my comment section and you can pick your meals from Factor. In the link, you get some free meals as well. So if you guys don't want to take the time to go ahead and cook the meals like I did with HelloFresh, you can go ahead and order your own meals through Factor. The meals are amazing. They have breakfast, they have protein shakes, they have smoothies. So if you guys want to use Factor, go ahead and hit that link in the comment section. It's amazing. Go ahead and make sure you click that link, get you some Teach Hanley, and support the Media Man YouTube channel, and also support Teach Hanley.
shade. I'm running off another game. I can't feel nothing. It's my fault, I should have been better. But I did all again, I swear. I swear. If I fall, you can call it the end of me. If I fall down, you can call it goodbye. I'm without a shade. I'm running off another game. I can't feel nothing. It's my fault, I should have been better. But I did all again, I swear. I swear. If I fall, you can call it the end of me. If I fall down, you can call it goodbye. I'm without a shade. I'm running off another game. I can't feel nothing. It's my fault, I should have been better. But I did all again.
You got me shook up, shook down, shook out on your head. I need you right away, girl. You got me shook up, shook down, shook out on your head. On your loving, around the way, girl. Around the way, around the way, girl. Around the way, around the way, around the way. I need you right away, girl.
You got to do better. Protection, get tested. You got to put these plans into action to make sure that we are protected and get these numbers down. These things are preventable. I mean, it's not going to always be 100%, but we got to do our part. It's that simple because our numbers are leading the pack for chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis. Protect yourselves.
Testify for you. I do that 3 more times again. I testify for you. I'm so that like you, that bitch I do it. All that whole crime was getting through. I'm not. Long if you joking, now it's for me. I ain't got it. My bitch can get through it. I your bodies. Long as you dreaming about me, ain't no problem. I don't got nobody just with you right now. For the truth, I look better under you. I get lost when I'm with you. Like you do. Party bitch with the bob, I'll be your main one. Let's take this argument back up to my place. Sex from argue, I'm not violent, I'm your day one. We ain't had shit, yeah. It was magic, yeah. Smash and grab shit, yeah. Nasty habits take a hold when you're not here. Ain't a home when you're not here. Find the home when you're not here. I'm saying, I can't lose when I'm with you. How can I lose and miss the moment? You just do it, boy. Nobody do body like you do. I can't lose when I'm with you. How can I snooze and miss the moment? You just do it, boy. Nobody do body like you do. You love.
Got a fast car. I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we can make it. Yeah. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Started from zero and nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, I felt like I was strong. City lights laid out before us. Your arm felt nice, wrapped around my shoulder.
What's going on? Welcome back to another Media Man Live show. I'm excited to be back. Man, we got some great topics for you guys. Actually, one of the topics was actually sparked by a comment that I received based off of my last live stream. If you guys missed Monday's live stream, that was amazing. Be on the lookout for more videos being clipped up and put out there. I see you guys are responding well to the first two that I put out. Yeah, they were very informative. Some funny, some a little bit more serious in regards to the men, black men in particular. But I think y'all get the point based off the comments. So greatly appreciate that, and welcome to everybody. Let me see who is it. Oh, let me make sure I didn't get the soup or the cash apps to see who the show sponsor is. Okay, we still waiting on it. We wait. So yeah, so like I said, man, we have a bunch of great topics, and it also gave me a chance to, I guess, I want to say express some key things that a man needs to have in order to be successful. And since we're framing the conversation around being successful with women, I think these points will go a long way. I promise you that. But yeah, we have a great show. Let me see here who we got in the chat so far. Let me go back up. I always miss a couple folks since we here early. This is good. Okay, we got XO Pro. What's going on, brother? And thank you for telling people to hit the like button. I greatly appreciate it, as always. Good to see you here. We got J Curve in the building. What's going on, good brother? He said, yeah. I'm going to say this like Ronnie Coleman. Yeah, buddy. Let's go. Hey, Ronnie the GOAT. Oh, yeah, that's who it is. So what's going on, brother? Jake Northington, what's going on? He said, this topic is a fact that's been true since at least the 1980s. Reference all nostalgic TV shows now showing how many drug dealers and gangbangers kept multiple women even while incarcerated. Yeah, we're gonna definitely get into it. We'll get into it. I got a bunch of stuff. We're gonna actually review a website as well. So, and I'm gonna give y'all a little link so you can do all the research for yourselves, because I just got a comment based off of these prison, the prison conversation. And I'm pretty sure the brother's watching. I didn't block him because I wanted to make sure that he was still here. Hold on, let me read this to y'all real quick. This is pretty good. Where did that go? Hold on 1 second. There it is, right there at the top. He says, oh, he responded. Okay. So I know you probably hear Antonio Mosley, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about this. He said, yeah, I disagree with the whole crime going down. It's on the rise. Look at California, New York, and so on. Nowadays, people are not reporting to the police anymore because of the lack of police officers doing their jobs and the lack of police on standby. The benchmark always rises, but crime is lower than the new benchmark, but higher than the past benchmark. A good source is actual justice warrior who had a degree in criminology, right? So I asked him, I said, what are you disagreeing with? The stats or your anecdotal experience? Also, what if I told you that I have a degree in criminal justice, as you guys already know that? Does that make me qualified to speak on this matter? And we actually, you know, and even if I didn't have a degree in criminal justice, we got to stop doing that. You know, trying to disqualify people based off of the experiences or the stuff that I'm putting out there you may not like, because that's what tends to happen. If somebody says something that you disagree with, then you start asking, are you a psychiatrist? Do you have a degree in that? We got to stop that, because none of that stuff was necessary when it was something that you agreed with. We see this all the time as black men. Nobody had a problem with believing that black men were deadbeats, right? Yep. Nobody ever thought about doing research to see if this was true. But all of a sudden, when the new statistics come out and we show you that black men are deadbeats and they are, in fact, taking care of their kids, now we got all these people's questioning statistics. It's biased towards black men, the CDC, the Census Bureau. Oh, okay. But we got to stop doing that. Just because if you know, let's say I didn't have a degree in criminal justice and I wanted to talk about the prison statistics based off of what is presented and what's written, why would I not be qualified to give my take on it if I'm not speaking based, you know, opinion based? Makes sense, right? Okay. So he also said, yes, if you have a degree in something, your word has some merit if the evidence backs you up. The FBI only uses the stats from the police report. I can show you Bureau of Justice statistics, national crime, the NCVS. Again, the reports the FBI uses from the people went to the police. We haven't seen a drop in crime to that equal in the 60s. It's merely more people not trusting the police. So, brother, I think you're assuming that I went directly to the FBI. I think you're very new here, because all the numbers that I've gotten, they actually state that everything that I have is based off of the stuff that you just written and some, right? So you got to do your research on me. This is not one of those platforms where you can come over here, talk fast, type loud, and gonna make that mean something. It don't, because you didn't do your research, because you didn't provide any sources. But that's why you have me here, so I'm gonna set you straight. So if you want to sit back and listen, I got you. But if you want to continue going back and forth, I'm gonna have to let you go. Because don't ever assume that you're coming on my platform thinking that I'm unprepared about the topics that I'm discussing. All right? And everything that you said was absolutely wrong without your sources being stated and what you're talking about. It's based off of opinion. And also, I do have some research on that. So I want you to stay tuned. It's going to be at the end of the show, but I have some research on public opinion in regards to how they feel about the prison rates. They feel like you do, but the numbers don't support that. And we have that written because there were multiple surveys done on this same topic for people who think just like you. Just because you live in a high crime area and you see people getting robbed, stabbed, and shot, you assume that's across the nation. Remember, they're taking the numbers from every state, not from where you live, not from your county, not from your city alone. Okay? So if you live in a place that's crazy, then that's what you're going to see. But when I talk about this, I'm talking about a broader national statistical level, not where you live. So I never have a problem with setting people straight when they come on my platform, because this is not one of those unprepared platforms. I'm an intelligent black man, so I'm going to be prepared. And I hope that you're black, because if you're a white dude questioning me, then I'm going to ask you the same thing. Why you didn't do any research beforehand? All right? Y'all need to smarten up, man. This ain't one of these podcasts where you guys gonna just lump me in the same category and be like, oh man, these dudes just hurt and feelings. Absolutely not. So stay tuned. Kick back. I got you. All right. Hopefully everything I said made sense. All right. Pool Man 313. Please keep comments respectful, and the video show Medium Man. You appreciate his hard work. Thank you. Appreciate that, brother. You the man. As always, good to see Pooh Man here. Got Derek Haynes in the building. What's going on, good brother? Let's see here. Man, you talking mess about the Lakers? See? Can't show that one, brother. You know how it is. Hey, we gonna get there. The Jedi Sage said, I like it. Absolutely, brother. Yo, what's going on? Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. And Derek Gaines said, I need to get me a bottle of that Forester. Yeah, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's pretty strong. So you may need to take it down a couple notches with a couple drops. So J Rag Soul Fiesta, thanks for doing this live. I've been thinking the same thing for years, and everybody has been thinking that. And I'm gonna approach it from multiple angles, so we can get this cleared up. See here, Ron Alexander, salute Media Man and chat. Absolutely. Let's see here. Got Ron in the building. Skinny Boy, what's going on, brother? Salute Media Man. What's going on? How you, brother? And we got Sanguine J. I hope I said that right. Checking in. What's going on, brother? Marcus, what's going on, man? Good evening, fellas. Good to see that name back in the chat. LA Miles. This topic is gonna stay forever undefeated. Yeah, man. We know how this go. Sean, what's going on? Sean O said the police always suck at their job. Only a few cops I respect. And I mean, we can discuss that. Afro Nerd Radio, just how many carceral black men are there? Are you saying incarcerated black men are there compared to regular non-black men? Despite the over-indexing, the actual percentage will still be low. Yeah, we know that. And I didn't want to approach it from that standpoint because I have multiple videos on my channel for that. But you know what the numbers are. It's about a little over 700,000 black men that are currently incarcerated. And that constitutes, well, let me rewind that. There's a little over 700,000 black people incarcerated, right? That includes black women, children, as well. So a little over 700,000, but that number constitutes 35% of the prison population, even though we only represent 14% of the U.S. population. And that's what gets people tied up because they'll say 35%, trying to say that 35% of the black community as a population is in prison. So if there's, how many black people we got in here? It was about 47 million black people living in the United States currently, right? New numbers just came out, 2024 from 2023. 47 million. How many people would that be if it was 35% of that population in prison, black people alone? Hold on. Give me a second. That would be 16.4 million black people in prison. Y'all see how that works? So yeah, that's why you have to, it's political season. So you'll hear people say that on, CNN, Fox, 35% black people, whatever, and it'll probably speed past because nobody ever explains it. So that would literally be 16 million black people that are incarcerated in the United States, if that were true. But if you've been a member of my channel for a while now, you would understand that there's only 1.9 million people who are currently incarcerated. And we're also going to look at the probation and the probation numbers as well to include that number into the 333 million U.S. population. So you have to extrapolate these numbers out to make them make more sense. And then you can understand how the black community fares as a whole and not just the prison rates, right? When was the last time you had somebody discuss these types of things and break it down like that, right? So I just wanted to be clear, and you are absolutely right, Afro Nerd. These topics mean a lot to me because, for one, I'm a black man and I'm in the black community. Even though we're at odds, they mean a lot because it gives me a chance to set the record straight about black men and the stereotypes that the black community and also the U.S. population likes to, place towards black men, like all black men are just, inherently bad. We may be overrepresented, but that is a small percentage compared to the 20, 21 million black people that are currently living in the United States. And I want to be clear on that. Okay. See, D320KG, what's going on with the 499 super chat? You are today's show sponsor. Let's see here. CNBC just put out an article today on average salary needed to be in a single living in a major city. Yeah, man, I just did the live stream on that. I haven't clipped up the video. I'll definitely put it up. Let me see here. Let me go and update the banner just in case did we get any more super chats? Oh, hold on. I see another one. Wait, one. Let me go back. So we got D320KG. Say $5. And I'm going to get the other folks here in a second. Let me go and read those. Where is it? Got you. Rad Talk with the 499 super chat. Thank you, brother. He said, finally settled in Houston. Salute, gentlemen. Man, welcome, man. I love Texas. I love Houston. I know you love it as well, good brother. Good to see you here. Rad Talk is the co-sponsor for today's show. And we got Dean Chrisman. I'm here listening while I work. Let's go. Absolutely, brother. Glow, he said, media man, what's going on? Let's see here. Paul Hightower, you hit the nail on the head with the title. That's why we struggle to fight the prejudice system. Yeah, and that I got all the information on this. It's actually going to be a teachable moment for anybody who thinks like the brother that commented that under the community post, right? Because before we speak on certain hard-hitting topics, we got to do our research. And sometimes, for me, it takes a little bit of time so I can answer questions like that, right? Because we cannot just be going off of our opinion, our own circle. We can't do that. We cannot afford to do that. Prince J, what's going on? He said, I think the only way men can help themselves is to try and improve themselves in every way and leave women in their delusion. And we're going to talk about it. See, skinny boy, stand on business. Let's hear Vincent John Doom, educated Pookie up here. Educated Pookie. See, Paul Hightower, as long as black women are allowed to get child support and housing, they could care less about what's going on. And in some aspects, that's true, and I agree. And it's what's funny, and that's a good point. Paul Hightower, I was watching a couple of panel shows because, of course, my people on Instagram, they do a lot of work, by sending me these videos, and I was watching them, and I seen a couple of them where it was like half and half. It was a panel of black men and black women, and I noticed that the black women on the panel were pissed off because they didn't agree with what the guys were saying. Like you could see it in their faces, the facial expressions, the sighing, oh my God, frowning, the brow, things of that nature. And I was sitting there watching this. But then there was a point in the conversations where there were two black men that disagreed and they started arguing with each other, right? And they were going back and forth. I think they even called it one show. They called each other out their names and they was just, bickering. But I looked at the black women's faces and they were smiling. They were happy. They were like watching these two black men fight. They started smiling. And I was like, man, I hope the moderators are watching this because you can see right there, like, man, they happy to see y'all sit there and argue with each other and stuff like that. And that's what makes them happy. I'm like, man, you're just not looking for a solution. Like, it was just funny, man. It's like, look at that. So, yeah, I don't think a lot of these, women on these panel shows be trying to be solution based. They're trying to get their point heard. And it's all good, man. Get the money. Let's see here. Here we go. We got MC Recovery and Relapse. $5 Super Chat said, my little bro in ICU, cold in lungs. Oh, man. and separated from wife at hospital. She a cheater that won him back, and mom recovering from last year fire. Wait, is that you, brother? Or is that your situation? Or you just mentioned something? That's a lot, man. If it is to you and your family, man, blessings up, man. Hope everything turns out well, man. Sorry to hear that. Glow Hearts and MC prayers to the Most High for your brother. Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you. Shaka Zulu said, on my way from work and couldn't wait to get in the car to listen and fellowship. Absolutely, man. Each one teach one. And I'm learning as well, brother. I'm learning as well. Thank you. Hit flicks. Damn, 30 minutes late, but still on time. Oh, yeah, we good. We good. We definitely good. Thank you. And we got Benny from Boston with the 999 super chat. He said, binge watching you for a week now. Love how you represent us, Black, educated, professional men. Absolutely. Keep up the good work, sir. Simplify. Well, there's a Marine right there. We already brothers. So welcome. Y'all know how I feel about military members. So invest in motive. Get the likes up. Absolutely, man. Let's see here. Trigger Man says some definitely like to see Black men at odds. Yeah, man, that was like funny to me. I was like, man, they start smiling. So, okay, yeah, man. Again, blessings up, man. Hope everything. I'm pretty sure everything will turn out well, man. Blessings up. Thank you. Dude from Fairfax says salute to you, media man. I always look forward to you breaking things down and giving us fuel for discussions with the ignorance out here in the streets. God bless you and your fiance. Thank you, brother. Yeah, and I appreciate that, man. And that's what these kind of conversations are for, man. I want to make sure you guys have the most current information, just so you can debunk certain stereotypes that are out there about Black men. And again, like I said, I started to do these shows because I thought that they would resonate with Black women because Black women thought something different. But when they found the statistics, they'll be like, oh, okay, I'll just change my whole thought process because what I thought was true wasn't. But that didn't work. So we just leave it at that. So yeah, we're going to try and keep it going. But yeah, this is for you guys. So appreciate that, man. Oh, man, we got a celebrity in the building. Man, I don't know if you got my shout out, Theo. On congrats on the 100,000 subscribers. I did it, I think the day after you hit 100,000 subscribers. But yeah, man, if you guys don't know, Theo, the Dewberry podcast, he hit 100,000 subscribers recently, man. So that is a huge accomplishment in these YouTube streets. So make sure y'all go over there and show him some love. Hit that subscribe button, man. You're doing big things over there. I'm about to catch the most previous live stream that you did this morning. I seen the title, so yeah, I'm excited to see what the hell going on. Kendra G had a prostitute and a pimp on there on her show. I didn't see that, man. I'm about to check it out. Oh man, thank you, brother. D320KG said Kobe's 2000 championship ring is up for auction. Thoughts? Yeah, I seen that. I think his mother had put it up for auction. Yeah, man, we'll talk about it later. But yeah, 499 super chat. Thank you, brother. And Cortez Smith said Black women won't be honest about this no matter how much truth people tell them. Yeah, and it's just unfortunate because I see, and this is what bothers me. There's been multiple men on certain panel shows and certain TV shows actually that brought up that Black men are the most involved fathers. And Black women didn't accept that because they're saying that, hey, it was a survey and they answered that they were the most involved father. Some of it was a survey, some of it was actual proof, in regards to what was reported. But the key factor to that survey is the fact that they did a study that went in conjunction with that study, and it was Black women that agreed. They're the ones that said that Black men were the most involved fathers. And that's one key component that a lot of Black men are missing when they have these discussions on these particular panels. That shuts up everything, right? So if you say that Black men are the most involved fathers according to the CDC, the response will be, well, that was the survey. Of course, they're going to answer correctly that they're the most involved fathers, right? But if you rebut that by saying, but you know what? Black women actually agreed. And here's where you can find the legacy source that says it. And you can follow the whole the whole links to prove your point. I've done videos on this. So if there's any ninja watching people out of the 135 and you get pushback on that point when you say that black men are the most involved fathers, make sure you add that black women agreed that that was true. They're the ones that confirmed it. So I'm pretty sure that a large contingent of black women wouldn't lie on the behalf of black men. For example, if a black man is not taking care of his kid and they're going to be faced with this, this piece of paper saying that, hey, are black men the most involved fathers? And they're going to lie on the behalf of black men and say, you know what? Even though he's not taking care of his kids, I'm going to just go ahead and put, yeah, he is involved. You really think black women would do that on behalf of black men? Come on now. Absolutely not. So, yeah. Oh, man. Jesus. Yeah, so just take that. Terrell Evans with another $30 super bomb on your boy. He said, brilliant content. Got my young nephews watching your content now so they can be informed and able to combat the nonsense when necessary. Thank you again, Meaty Man. Salute, man. That's what I like to hear, man. You know what I'm saying? And I want to make sure the young bucks get some of this good information as well, man. Thank you. Let me go ahead and update that. Hold on. Let me see here. Let me get to it. Terrell. Give me 1 second so I can update this real quick. And thank you to those who donated beforehand. I know we got to talking, but I greatly appreciate it. Let me make sure I spelled that right. Yep. And got it. Okay. Cool. Thank you, brother. And let me go ahead and All right, we in there. Let me see here. Marvin Brown said, thank you for all the information, King, brother. Man, I appreciate you being here, man. And matter of fact, now that we have a little bit of time, I want to do something for you guys because I'm getting tired of people saying, well, that was a survey, even though that survey was maybe a little over 300,000, if I remember correctly. The CDC survey, that's huge. Let me see here. Legacy, most involved. Very simple Google search. Fathers. Bam. Let's see here. Oh, I got to pull it up. Come on, man. Now I don't want to work for you, boy. See, the man is holding it back. The Google man is holding it back. Hold on. Mothers echoed the report. It's titled "The Truth About Black Fatherhood." Let's see here. I want to get the part where it says, okay, hold on. I'm going to screenshot this real quick now that we got a little bit of time. Hold on. All right. Give me 1 second. Because this is important. Because I've seen this done, this conversation. If you don't know, Teslin Figueroa, she just did an interview with Slim Thug, the rapper Mano, and another guy that was in a suit. Of course, you know, he gonna be the one to pander. And they were talking about black fatherhood and who's responsible, the mother or the father and all this type of stuff. But yeah, so they talk about these things, in the public eye, but we just forget certain key things that we should include in these conversations. So hold on, let me show y'all something real quick. And again, I have videos on my platform specifically for this. And it's for this reason alone. Hold on one second. Let me get this super chat real quick. Shaka Zulu with the $20 bomb on your boy. Thank you. Appreciate it, good brother. Thank y'all. Hold on. Look at this. In big letters. The truth. Black fathers are more involved. We cannot equate the number of unmarried dads to the number of fatherless children. Oh, really? First of all, marriage rates don't necessarily reflect the number of black fathers living with their children. As Josh Ryder points out, the majority of black dads, 2.5 million of around 4.2 million, do live with their kids, even if they're not married to their partner. But this is the kicker. What does that say? Mothers reports echo. Lest we believe that these statistics are skewed by the father's own self-reporting, other studies based on the maternal reports echoed these findings. In a 2008 survey of low-income mothers, researchers found that non-resident white fathers were less involved with their children than African-American and Latino fathers. In a 2018 study, 10 years later, a study in a 2018 study of non-marital births, mothers reported that black fathers shared responsibilities more frequently and displayed more effective co-parenting than Hispanic and white fathers. So again, there we go. So if there's anybody that's just a little bonus for today's show, but if there's anybody that has an issue with black men saying that black men are the most involved fathers, there's your answer right there. Black women actually confirmed it. Okay, not just black women, all women that black men have children with, they confirm that black men are the most involved fathers. And then you see that line under the study there? You see this? You can actually go there and read the full study for yourself, right? So if there's anybody that has an issue with black men being in their children's lives, only the black community for some odd reason, make that make sense. I mean, y'all mad that black men are actually involved with their children's lives because that probably puts the spotlight on black women, right? So that's why they're upset. It can't be. I'm melting. Oh, I'm melting. Black men can't be good. Oh, no. I'm melting. Fuck you all. Oh, and since we on the topic of children, yeah, I mean, it's just so convenient that we're talking about this stuff and we're talking about blame. I'm gonna let y'all decide. Let's go ahead and look at this this heading real quick from the Breakfast Club. What does that say? You see that? Breakfast Club just did a report. And of course, I get this stuff sent directly to me so we can discuss it here. Not the two, and it's unfortunate that those two former Mississippi deputies were sentenced for torturing two black men, which was crazy. Talking about the second part of that. Deletions, child deletions reach highest rate plus more. Y'all see that? Now, this is based off of a study that just came out. Did you guys see this? Oh, and this is, I'm going to show you how the Guttmacher Institute is a reputable source. I'm going to show you something here in a second. But despite bans in certain states, number of child deletions in the United States increased in 2023, right? Did y'all know that? Let's go ahead and read some of this information that they provided for us. Child deletion numbers are at their highest in more than a decade. The Guttmacher has been tracking the number of child deletions in the United States since 1973, because that was when the Roe versus Wade, you guys know this information, very educated chat. Over that time, there have been large changes in child deletion incidents in response to changes in access to and demand for deletion care. The number of child deletions in the United States peaked in 1990 at 1.6 million. Over nearly 30 years, they experienced a sustained decline, falling to 885,000 in 2017. In 2019 and 2020, however, this long-term trend started to reverse, with the number of child deletions rising to 930 in 2020, marking an 8% increase from 2017. It says see additional, so on and so forth, right? It's from the CDC. Our estimated numbers represent a substantial increase. Even in this historical context, the last time there were over 1 million deletions provided in the formal healthcare system in the United States was 2012. New findings from the monthly deletion provision study show that an estimated 1 million deletions occurred in the formal healthcare system in 2023, the first full calendar year after the U.S. Supreme Court decision, Dobbs versus Jackson's Women's Health Organization, overturned Roe versus Wade. This represents a rate of 15.7 deletions per 1,000 women of reproductive age, and is a 10% increase since 2020, the last year for which comprehensive estimates are available. It is also the highest number and rate measured in the United States in over a decade. Now, broader availability for telehealth for medication deletions. So basically, let me bring myself up here. So since this is somewhat my field. So basically what's happening is that women are able to get a telehealth consult to determine if they're given the medication to delete their children. If you guys don't know that a lot of the child deletions were done via medication, and that medication is I'm gonna try and say this correctly. It's the common brands are Korlym and Mifeprex. It's mifepristone. That's the medication that these women are getting, and it is basically a proestrogen blocker. It can end a pregnancy that is less than 10 weeks along, 70 days or fewer since the start of the last menstrual period, right? So that is one of the reasons why our numbers have increased, because it's easier access to get this type of medication so women can delete their children, right? So these are the conversations that we need to have. And I'm not saying what's right or wrong. Pro-choice, pro-life, it's not my decision. That is women's decision. But all I understand is that women are, it seems like, and this is just my assumption, that women are using this type of medication as birth control when it shouldn't be, right? That needs to start beforehand. And I know, all of the reproductive rights, those are things that's going to be addressed in this election. And it encompasses more than just child deletions, right? It encompasses women having proper birth control, so on and so forth. But again, this is not a conversation that I need to be involved in. It should be discussed amongst women, right? And starting to educate these women on being careful in regards to who you get impregnated by, protection, so on and so forth, right? So we're sitting here talking about, the approximately 8,000 Black men who are offenders when it comes to red rum, right? 8,000. When, matter of fact, I'm not even going to quote the number. I'm going to just show you. So if we had 1 million child deletions in 2023, we can automatically assume that most of those came from the Black community. Well, why do you say that, Media Man? Let me show you some historical evidence for the reason why I said that. Let me show you something real quick. Black women, y'all worried about us? Start focusing on your daughters. So this is a report from Right to Life Michigan, and I want to show you guys a reference real quick so we can know where they got it from. This was updated and on July 25th, 2023. You see right there in the middle? You see this? What does that say? Let me make it a little wider. This is where they got their information from. Top one was from the Centers for Disease Control in 2022, and then the Guttmacher Institute, which is the same institute that reported the new numbers. And then also from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Service in 2023. So all these are reputable sites that are free and available to anyone who cares to know. Now, I just wanted to show that first, but let me show you something else. You see at the top there, what does that say? Black deletions by the numbers. In the United States, the deletion rate for Black women is more than 3 times that of white women. On average, more than 900 Black babies are deleted every day in our country. This tragedy continues to impact the population levels of African Americans in the United States. The deletion racial disparity is even more stark when the focus is on Michigan statistics as well, because Michigan is one that they highlighted. So these are things that the Black community kind of shies away from because it doesn't paint Black women in a positive light, depending on how you feel about child deletions, right? And this is just some Michigan statistics. This is the national statistics. Let me show you something else. National statistics. More than 21 million Black babies have been deleted since 1973. Y'all heard me correctly. I said 21 million. 21. The population of Black men is only about 20 to 21 million. And our women have deleted 21 million children since 1973. That equates to about 400,000 deletions each year, leading up to our present day. Yeah, 400,000 each year. Where should our focus be on? The small minority of Black men who are currently incarcerated? Oh no, let's talk about something frivolous. The small percentage of Black men that are gay. Let's talk about them. Let's shame Black men for that and saying that 50% of Black men are gay. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Black men only earning $50,000 a year and you don't think that's enough. Let's talk about that frivolous stuff when we need to be talking about more important matters. Depending on how you feel, right? Non-Hispanic Black women have a significantly higher deletion rate, 24.4 per 1,000 women of reproductive age, than that of non-Hispanic whites, 6.2, and Hispanics, 11.4. 39% of all reported child deletions in the U.S. in 2020 were performed on Black women. However, only about 12.6% of the total Black population is Black. And you can extrapolate that, or you can decrease that to Black women. Black women only represent about 7.5, 7.6% of that Black population. So realistically, about 7 to 8% of the total U.S. population is responsible for 39.2% of the child deletions. So that's why those numbers, when they, break it down and do it by race, all that type of stuff, then you'll see where the issue is. because there's historical evidence that basically says that our women are deleting the most children every year since 1973. And I'm pretty sure, that wasn't, what is it, Margaret Sanger, eugenics and all this type of stuff, Roe versus Wade, all this stuff started being tracked on that same year, 1973, to include the fertility rates. So that's why they started to do that. And that's why we know for a fact that black men have less children than black women, because both of those studies were started in the same year. Yeah, do your research if there's anybody that has an issue with this stuff, right? And let me be clear. I know the argument is going to be, well, black men need to stop having sex with these women and getting them pregnant. Who controls access to sex? Who controls if a kid is born into this world or not? I thought y'all told us that men shouldn't even have a say in these types of conversations. Isn't that the narrative? That men shouldn't even be commenting on this? Why are men making laws based off of a woman's reproductive rights? We're not even supposed to be in this because you guys already understood that the responsibility falls on you. But now when I bring this to the forefront, all of a sudden you want to include men, and black men in particular, when we already know that black women have approximately 1 million more children than black men. Just reported those numbers too. So for the black community to simply believe that black women are only having children or, deleting children by black men, how stupid can you be? Black women tell you openly that they're openly trying to divest. They're expanding their options to make it sound a little bit softer, right? Expanding their options, right? So they expanding their legs to these other men. They spreading them legs, but they ain't getting married. So in a sense, it's working. Expand your options. There you have it. Crazy asses. Look at this. African Americans are no longer the nation's largest minority group. Today, Hispanics have outpaced blacks in population growth. Wonder why that is. Maybe it has something to do with the 400,000 child deletions each year. For every 1,000 live births, non-Hispanic black women had 426 child deletions. Think about what I just said. Goodness gracious. Non-Hispanic white women had 118 and out of 1,000 live births. And this is for black or for Michigan. We'll keep it at a national level. But yeah, so and y'all want to sit there and place a focus on black men and what we're doing and who we're dating and the passport bros and 50-50. That's the least of our worries. It's embarrassing, man. At some point, the black community is going to have to come, together as a whole and be like, look, man, we've done enough lying. We've already skirted the truth in regards to who the issue is in regards to the black community. Black women, let's sit down and have a talk. I'm waiting for somebody of prominence in these high spaces to say that, because we cannot keep doing this, man. We can't. Man. My guy, IQS, what's going on? International Quiet Storm with the $20 super chat said, Media Man, last night I was talking to my brother who's 24. He said, my sister's name, 55.48% of black men in America don't have kids as of October 2023. It warmed my heart. Media Man, your impact on the community is powerful. Man, let me make sure I save that. I didn't say that. Okay. I got to say that one, brother, man. I've been getting a lot more messages like that, man. I'm about to do a compilation. Brother, I thank you. Thank you for sharing that, IQS, man. This ain't, like I said, I got to kind of reel people in, man. This is real life conversations. because it affects the black male ethic image, man. Thank you, brother, for sharing that. Damn. My man Woke Quill, member for 2 months. He said, what are the names of the drug companies? You can look it up, man. Start with, just type in because, I mean, if you're a capitalist, I hate to say this, but if they have a publicly traded company, I mean, it's not financial advice. Let me just say that. I'm just saying. So, yeah, just look up that. Oh, man. LJ with the $5 super sticker. Thank you, brother. And then also Derek Gaines, my man, member for 6 months. Sounds like the Kissinger report. Yeah, man. Was that information new to you guys? Whew. Goodness gracious. DF, I don't think I read any of your comments yet. Black men suffer a lot at the hands of black women, but they don't talk about it. Thank you, Media Man, for giving us a voice and helping us combat this nonsense with stats. And that's the only way we can do it, because y'all see that opinions don't work. And even statistics don't work in the black community. They will argue you down when nobody had an issue with none of this stuff. Goodness gracious. Did I write that correctly? Did it come out there? Okay, yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Let me see. Oh, Emmanuel Dark, my man, said Derek Gaines is a legend and it's working better than ever planned. Yeah. You know, I mean, like I said, this was a plan, man. You know, it was definitely a plan. So, and it's working. It's embarrassing. But yeah, so I didn't want to start this off dark, but I mean, I just wanted to level set the conversation and focus the black community on what actually matters. Because like I said, everybody's opinion is not the same when it comes to child deletions, and whichever way you vote, pro-life, pro-choice, it is what it is. But the fact of the matter remains is that there's been 21 million black children deleted since 1973. So, and honestly, Derek, the only thing that we can do is, well, I won't say we, because that would be untrue, because the majority of black men are protecting their seed and they're having children, you know, their children within wedlock, and they're in the house 66% of the time when the children is born. Because if we look at it, let's look at it like this. You ask, what can black men do to help decrease the child deletion population? The simple answer would be to make sure you protect yourselves and you have, you know, make sure she's on birth control, so on and so forth, right? But that would be too broad of an approach, because the majority of black men have never fathered children. 54% have never fathered children. 46% of black men have fathered children, but you have to remember, what? 36% of black men are married, and that's not even including the separated. That would push it up to 39%. So if you have 46% of black men who have ever fathered children, and you have, let's say, 36% using the lowest number or whatever, right? That will leave a 10% gap. So that 10% gap, well, let me clear that up. Only about 33% of those black men who are married have ever fathered children. So that's about a 13% gap in regards to the black men who are having the most children at a wedlock with those black women. So to the 13%, they need to make sure that they, you know, protect their seed. They need to make sure that they're more responsible than the women that they're impregnating, because obviously they can't do it themselves. And this is where you have to start treating women like children when it comes to this, because they get game goofy when you start bringing up the fact that you control if a child comes into this world or not, or if you control it if you get pregnant or not. Yeah. So that would be the most logical approach, to tell those 13% of men, not just black men, men who are having sex with black women, to make sure you are more responsible than them. That's what we can do. Man. Hopefully that answers your question, brother. It's unfortunate that we have to go through all this, go all the way around the what's staring us, straight in our face, and try and sugarcoat things because the black community, black women will get offended if we say, hey, man, y'all need to take responsibility, take some accountability. Man, Derek Gaines says, Medium Man, I have a 13-year-old daughter. I'm doing my best to educate her about what you're talking about. And I think, men who are where we all are, man. So that's why I said I had to walk my statement back, because I know that, black women aren't just having children with black men, and it's not all black men. So I had to be clear, because I know how this stuff can get, misinterpreted on, the internet. So I wanted to make sure I was clear. Hopefully I did that. So Skinny Boy, he said, the legend, how dare you, black men are deadbeats. Yeah, I'm glad you made me laugh, because I was starting to get pissed off. DF said, can you imagine if all those kids were born in happy homes? We would be unstoppable. And that's the thing. We all know that marriage, two-income households is the way. It's a way to, better living conditions, so on and so forth. We know that when men are single fathers, the kids come out as they come out just as good as if they grew up in a two-parent household. We know these things. So that shows the importance of having a father in the house. And we seem like the black community is hustling backwards for some odd reason. We got women attacking other women for pointing out the fact that she's seeing more childbirths and marriages. It was on the spiritual word again. Some woman pointed that out, and they got mad at her for saying everybody don't want to get married, but we can have buckaroos all the time. So, I mean, in actuality, they're not wrong, but Jesus, it's just the black community, man. It's crazy. So let's move on, man. Let's get off this. Let's get off this topic and discuss something that may be informative. I mean, the older guys, they may have some of these steps and some of these principles already in place, but the question wouldn't have been asked if this brother didn't actually, mean it. So let me see here. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. So this young man, or this may be an older guy, I'm not sure. He said, Medium, do you have a video on how men can become the maintenance man? So the maintenance man is based off of Michael Bazin's book that he wrote a while back. I read it, I think, and back in the 2000s. And it was about a dude who was gallivanting with all these women and working his way up or whatever. Pretty good book, man. I actually read it while I was on a deployment with one of my homeboys, man. We was going back and forth reading the book because it was so good. But it's basically, the brother right here was probably asking me how, do you have a video on how to be good with women? And I already told you guys, I don't necessarily have game like that. Like I can't go up to a woman, or I wouldn't be able to go up to a woman and just, hey girl, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? I saw you walking across the room. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that I saw you. And you know what I'm saying? That fast talking can get a woman to give you a number. My game is pretty much lifestyle, the man that I built myself to be, right? So that speaks volumes more than anything, in my personal opinion, right? So being good with women is based off of a lot, many different things. But he wrote this yesterday, so I put together some things that may help you guys, and it's not necessarily trying to turn you into an F-boy. It's actually some key points that can turn you into a good man. if you follow certain things. But since we're discussing this from a relationship approach, how can I be better with women? Just understand that this is not steps that I'm telling you to be, like in life, even though they may carry over, but we're talking about what women want in a sense, right? So in order to be better or become the maintenance man with women, I would say work on these 10 steps. And we're going to go through them here. Let me show y'all real quick. First thing, step one, listen to women. And I know that just sent shivers of the alpha male, the alpha male community. What? You want us to listen to women? Absolutely. Because if you want to be good with women, you have to listen to them, right? So put together a couple things that said, what you have to do is understand what the majority of women want. What is it? And I'm pretty sure you guys can answer these things for yourself. What's the common narrative that we hear in these spaces? What is it called? Six figures, 6 feet, 6 inches, right? That's what they say. So that's what the majority of women say that they want. But the effed up thing about those 3 requirements is that none of those things are guaranteed. None of those things are guaranteed for any man. So if you look at the 6 figures, 6 feet, and 6 inches, it's literally nothing you can do if you don't have that. Right? Man, it's funny. If you're not a man that was blessed with those qualities, you'll have to settle for, and I left a little pause right there. This is a good one. Y'all see that? Step 2, you cannot be short, broke, or overweight. I know that sounds harsh, but it's the truth, man. The only thing that you cannot control is your height. So that's the only struggle that you can afford to have if you are a shorter guy. I told you guys I'm 5'8" and 3/4. When I put on Timbs, I'm stopping with the big dogs. I'm touching about 5'10", brother. Yeah. But you got to pick a struggle. And it's as simple as that. And I actually wanted to educate you guys on this whole, the 3 6s or whatever, right? It's not just 3 of those. If you didn't know that, let me show you. And this is going to shock you even more. Look, so the first one, of course, is on there, at least 6 inches below the belt. And this is from the website Ask Men, right? The 6th point of the 6 6s is likely to be one that makes guys the most nervous or the most confident, depending on where they stand. To be fair, not all women need a guy who's at least 6 inches, but for those who are generally not highly sexual, for the rest of us, a minimum of 6 inches is essential if we want to get off. Lest you think this is superficial, think again. It's a matter of basic physics. A larger penis, pause, makes it easier to hit the G-spot, therefore making it easier to orgasm. A wider penis, pause, causes more friction, which enhances pleasure. So if you're not packing down below, make sure you got those oral and fingering skills down packed, right? So, and let me give you, and I know this is kind of a crazy topic, but we talk about this all the time. So I figured that we should go in depth with the actual article. So for a little bit of, anatomy education, the woman's, I don't even know if I guess, because I know some guys like, but they don't care about that medium man. They should I go into this, man? But anyway, I'll go ahead. The woman's vagina is only about 4 inches deep, man. You know what I'm saying? So on average, most women say that they need a guy that's at least 5.5 inches of weenus, right? But that's not something that women like to rely on. Just being completely honest. So if you tell a woman, if you're about to sneak in with some woman and you tell her, well, your vagina is only 4 inches deep. So I'm coming with, 4 inches of weenie. We should be good, right? We got to be harsh on it, right? She gonna look at you like, man, hell no. You know what I'm saying? But to be perfectly honest, 6 inches, I guess that's why they put it in there. So for the majority of women, I guess 5.5 to 6 inches, right? That should be good enough. And I know y'all probably didn't sign up for this, but hey, we got to be honest here. That's what they say. So it is what it is. All right, here we go. Let's see here. Now, this is the next one. A six-figure salary. Y'all have heard this one before, right? These days, the six-figure salary isn't much, but it's sure as hell better than a five-figure salary. 5 figures is fine for your average Joe, but to many ambitious women, 5 figures screams middle class. A successful woman is searching for someone who can treat her to the finer things in life. Last-minute weekends in Paris, vacations in Bali, and expensive dinners. But it's not just about the material things. No matter how equal women become to men, when it's all said and done, money equals power and masculinity. A man who earns a lot of money can more easily take care of his family. And to a lot of us, that is way sexy. And we've talked about this before, right? So yeah, so there it is. I don't think we need to go any further on the six-figure conversation. We all know it's down, it's out there. It is what it is. Let's continue. Now, this one is the one that we rarely discuss. This is another 6. A 6-pack abdomen. A 6-pack is just an added bonus, but it's a big one. Sure, a guy can be attractive. One guy can be attractive, but there's nothing more pleasurable than touching a guy who has who's hard as a rock. Pause. It makes sex that much more fun. Plus, a guy in shape is more likely to go all night. A guy who's flabby, not so much. And I know we have outliers, and I've talked about this multiple times. You guys know that the gym is a great equalizer. And I place a lot of emphasis on men getting in shape and taking care of their health. It's not just going to the gym and lift the weights. It's eating healthy, make sure your skin is clear, so on and so forth. So all this factors in. This is one of those that we rarely talk about because we want to be inclusive when we talk about what women want. But there are some women that, like the dad bods, but there are far more women than not that like men who are in shape. And I'm not sitting there telling you to be some sort of Ronnie Coleman clone or Phil Heath clone. No, get in shape to the best of your ability, right? It shouldn't be, and that's what happens with dudes. I just want to look like, let's say, this is what white men say. They say, I want to look like Brad Pitt in Fight Club, right? That's their ideal physique. But I'm like, once you obtain that, what do? Just stop and maintain that physique, or are you going to continue going? You just continue going, right? So once you get to a goal and your accomplishment, you'll start to understand. And that's what people who are gym rats, they know as well. I've been in the gym for almost 20 years now. And damn near every year I've made some sort of improvements on something. And it's going to get to a point where that's going to stop because I'm getting older. But I want to be able to maintain a respectable physique for my age. And that's what your goal should be. So if you're a guy who is 50 years old, you need to be in the top 5 to 10% of 50-year-old men in regards to your health and your physique to the best of your ability. That's what I mean. Okay? Let's continue. Realistic goals. Now, this is a funny one. He also at least a 600 horsepower in his car. All right, a guy doesn't absolutely need a 600 horsepower car, but he does have to drive a car that's powerful. A Chevy Aveo isn't going to cut it. A Mercedes, BMW, Lexus, or Bentley is a good pick for the fancier girl. For a more laid-back type, an SUV or Audi would be a good choice. But no matter what station wagons, hatchbacks, minivans, or small budget cars are out, if you want to impress, dream girl. So this is a kind of frivolous one, but it is it's in the the requirements or whatever. So yeah, I think we all know that. Even though some of these smart cars are far more efficient, you get good gas mileage or whatever, but what turns a woman's eye is a car that looks pretty good. We know that a guy who meets all the other six figures or six sixes, but then he pulls up in a VW Bug or something like that, and not one of the vintage ones, which is a pretty cool car, but one of the new ones, right? Where you see a lot of women putting Hello Kitty on the license plate and shit like that. It does look a little bit different. And I'm not talking about, again, the efficiency and all that stuff, because I know there's going to be some tech guy in there. Well, I drive this, and because it gets me good gas miles, and I only fill my car up once. I'm not talking about you, brother. I understand all that. But when we're talking about what impresses a woman, what do you think has a better chance of doing that? That VW Bug that I was talking about, or that Corvette that I'm dragging my feet on and getting? So yeah, so I get it. You ain't got to go down the list. The mileage and the. I understand, brother. I definitely understand. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? And I know some of the burliest men drive. People always like, what's a car that they like to point out? And we start talking about reliable cars. Hondas. It's gonna be somebody that mentioned, my friend, he did this. He was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu trainer, and he drove a 1986 Honda. He didn't care about what the women think. Brother, I get it all. I understand. And you have to be specific with guys on these platforms. I understand everything. I promise you. You ain't got to tell me that you knew, a Navy SEAL or something like that, was out there offing people, but he came back and drove like a Altima or something. I don't know. But yeah. I know. Let's see here. Let's keep going. At least 6 feet tall. I mean, that's the main one that you hear in these spaces. It almost goes without saying that taller men are more attractive to women. 6 feet is a good starting point. It's sort of like how guys think of a 36C cup size. Height suggests safety and security. This is natural and normal to women. It is genetic. We like to feel small and protected in the arms of our guy. It's from a woman's point of view. A man who's 2 inches taller than us is not likely to make us feel sexy or taken care of. More likely, we'll feel like we're hanging out with a friend. And that is not going to get us hot and bothered. They being honest with y'all. Y'all ask for women to be honest. They being honest. But this is something that's inherent to all women. Height, it exudes protection. Women don't know that's the reason why they're going for men who are taller. If you ask them in today's day and age, but back in the day, that was important because when you did, you had to protect your house from being pillaged and plundered. You needed a bigger guy to do that. And women tend to partner with those types of men. And also for genes, genetic purposes, your lineage, kids, so on and so forth, right? So it's not a slight to anybody who was born short. It's nothing that you can do about that. We understand it. But from a woman's point of view, it's just simply nature. Okay, it may be a little bit more, frivolous in today's modern society because we have so many things in place that helps protect, the population. So a man that is, my height, 5'8" or whatever, I don't have to rely on, trying to wrestle with some 6'6" dude every day to protect my family. No, we pay taxes. The cops run around here. Call them. If that's the case, if you need somebody to protect you. And we also got firearms. If you're an upstanding citizen, you can go ahead and own one of those. So you can somewhat level the playing field. So now in today's day and age, height really doesn't matter in that sense. But for women, since it's natural, it does. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all understand this, gentlemen. And y'all not looking at me crazy. Like I just want to be clear. I hope y'all understand that. Yeah, I see a lot of comments, man. If you want your comment read, I'm gonna pick out a couple because we got to keep the show going. But send in that super chat. Y'all understand? Okay, cool. King James, Torrell, thank you. Woke Quill, Oliver. Let me get that here. Here you do from Fairfax, cool. Benny from Boston, cool. There we go. Okay, I want to make sure we good. What did Cortez say? Cortez Smith said, I think they overcomplicate height. I think women pretend to care about it more than they actually do. Yeah, and on the dating market, it honestly doesn't matter. Like the 6 feet thing, yeah, they probably would like a guy who's above 6 feet, but that's not going to stop women from having sex with a guy who's 5'7", 5'8". If he turns her on, it is that simple. I can't sit up here and lie and be like, yeah, men who are below 6 feet don't get no booty. No, it's not true. So yeah, we good. I just wanted to be clear on the 6 feet thing. Did I get this one? 6-figure salary. Yeah, we good. We got everything. 1, 2. I'm going down the list here. Oh, this is the one. I missed this one. This one was a crazy one. At least 6 months since last relationship. This is from a woman's point of view. So it says this is an important one for anyone, male or female. If a woman is looking for a keeper, she's looking for someone emotionally available. And that means someone who is well over his last relationship and not looking for a quick fix for his broken heart. There's nothing worse than knowing you are the rebound girl. So in that right, gentlemen, don't tell her. I mean, that's not none of her business. You know, if she's trying to disqualify you, then just don't tell her. Because I promise you, women ain't going to tell you shit. They're going to lie to your ass. So, I mean, hey, if you really trying to start something with the woman and you already did the healing and something like that, and, you know, and I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say lie. But yeah, avoid the question. Let's just say that much. Let's do that. So be vague. Do that. So yeah, I don't want to say that. But yeah, just avoid the question. So so yeah, we started with 2 for a while. Before we get to 3, let me get to some of the getting these super chats. Okay, we good. We can continue. We can continue. Hold on, let me check the cash apps 1 second. Good to go. Cool. Let's continue. Oh, well, matter of fact, let me ask, is there anybody in the comment section that meets all of those 6 sixes? So we had 6 months since your last relationship. That's 1. 6 feet, 6 figures, 6 inches, pause, 600 horsepower car or a nice looking car, you know, masculine car. What was the last one? What was the 5th one? I know somebody, I didn't forgot already. Got that one. 6-pack abdomen, right? You in shape. Anybody in the chat meet all 6s? Let's see here. Somebody said Mike Ruck said, yeah, you should say lie. Let's see here. Cortez Smith said former 6-packer not making 6 figures yet. Faces, man, I'm in a relationship, but I meet 4 out of the 6 31-year-old black men. There you go. Okay. So men, to be perfectly honest, if you ask a man, hey, what do you rate yourself on a 1 to 10 scale? Men be like 4, 5. You ask women at 10, I'm a 99. Oh, that's funny. Benny said 3 if you don't consider a Tacoma a nice car. Oh, I like Tacoma. That's the truck, right? Yeah, and it's you know, mass. It was a funny video going out there. Like somebody was saying, man, if you a man that working on the construction site and you're driving a $90,000 or $80,000 truck, you know, then you're stupid. And there was dudes on there that were responding to him working on the construction site with these nice trucks. So yeah, I've always thought trucks were great vehicles. So Jay said, your boy Jay, all the six. Hey, Jay good then. You know what I'm saying? And see, he's one of the brothers that already went overseas. He in Colombia now. Now, see, black women, y'all, hey, Jay gone. So Marcus L. Boston Arthur said, I have a ultimate and no abs. And again, guys, this is just a fun thing. It's not. Yo. Let's see here. New from Fairfax said, I don't have six-pack abs and I drive an SUV and I'm okay with it. Yeah, man, as you should. And again, take it for what it's worth. MC Recovery, I'm 6'1", got a 4-pack and 5 figures. Wow. I wish more women was here to see how honest guys are about themselves, man. Thank y'all, man. Y'all proving a lot of points. So this is funny. Let me see here. Mike Ruck said, I just reach it barely at 6 feet without shoes. Okay. Let's say, look, 718 Golden said, yeah, women say I'm a 12. And that's why I'm like, man, stop asking these women questions like that. They ain't gonna sit there and lower themselves. You know, I feel like I'm like, what does the market say? Anyway, CM said she weighed 230, claims she 10 out of 10. Inflation hitting all markets. Yeah, man. Faceless Man said, we gone. Azrael, what's going on? He said, not a truck guy, but I like the Raptor. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Anybody own a Raptor? One of them the new high-powered trucks. And then Ford also makes another one that one of my coworkers used to have. It was what was that called? I wish I knew. My homeboy has one of these nice Ford trucks. It's like a special edition something, country something. Oh, man. He did a little video inside of it. I was like, man, now you forget that that's a truck because trucks ain't supposed to be that luxurious. So, yeah, but that Raptor is cold. Man. Goodness. Yeah, Terrell Evans said, very nice truck. It is, man. It's... Sheesh. Yeah, so let's continue with this list. I'm glad the brother asked this question, you know, how to become a maintenance man. This started a good conversation. Let's get back to it. So what did I have up here next? This is a good one. Y'all see that? This is important. Gainfully employed and financially stable based off your age, right? So, and I'm going to tell you the reason why I say that. I got some points here that I want to read out. So, contrary to popular belief, the majority of women are not expecting you to be rich, but you cannot be broke. Is that fair to say? I know that we're on social media and you hear women talking about they want a Birkin, can't even spell it, right? You know, I need a man to take me on trips. I don't want to pay bills, but for the majority of women out there, that is not the requirement. No matter what you hear, most of the women who are the most loud say on social media, you just need to make sure that you're not broke. And then if you're in college, you're expected to be broke. But a 35-year-old man, absolutely not. So y'all see the difference? So if you're in university and you got like a part-time job and you got full-time classes, women, even though I've seen certain studies, and I think Dr. T.S.on Johnson discussed this before. He asked, I think it was a while back, and he may have discussed this with Kevin Samuels, where he was saying that in I think it was his class, where he went around and asked how much you want your man to make, and the women were saying $100,000, but they were in the same class as the guys going to college. So guys who are in college aren't making $100,000 a year. So they're just like you. So to have that standard for the men that you're dating while you're in college is unreasonable, right? So it just didn't make sense to me. That was the first time I heard that. I was like, wow. So these guys got to be in college hitting the books, and for some odd reason, they got to make $100,000. It's insane. But yeah, so that's why I put in based off of your age. And then also in regards to being gainfully employed, what is your upward trajectory in your career field? So the best thing that I tell guys, like say if you're a man who didn't go to college, get a trade. Or, if you have the capacity to start your own business in something, then do that. But you need to have a career and not just a job, because a job, it exudes instability. Because you hear people saying, I go from, job to job hopping, so on and so forth, but you're in between jobs all the time. You need to have a career. And I know that the common narrative in today's culture is to spend a couple years at a job, then go to a next one. I get that. If you can continue doing that, and most people I hear doing that is tech guys, because they'll find a better job somewhere else and they'll just go ahead and job hop. But if you're not in that tech field, it is very tough to do that. So you need to have some structure in your life, and women will see that. How long you been working for whatever company? Oh, I've been there for about 5 years. Is that something that you want to do, or is it something that you're working? Well, eventually, I want to open up my own practice or my own business, based off of the skills that I learned from this career that I have. What did you just tell that woman? That you have a plan. That makes sense? Guys, put a 1 in the chat. So that's the start of your plan. Let me know. So just trying to help. So this is trying to help. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm glad CM put military. Yeah, military. I mean, it definitely is underrated to this new wave of men and women. But the reason why I left military off there is because I know that only a small percentage of men and women will actually join. But if, doing it like I did, I joined the military with no plan. So if you guys didn't know, I didn't join the military because my dad was in the Army, or I had uncles, I had cousins that was in the military. It didn't have anything to do with that. I joined the Air Force because I wanted to shut my grandmother up. I joined the Air Force because I got tired of her kind of judging me, because I was living with her at the time and I was being a bum after high school. And I used to, one of my best jobs that I had, I used to score keep for adult sports leagues. And I know y'all probably like, what? That makes, yes. I think they used to pay me maybe $20 a score sheet. So that basically means I would keep score for like basketball, softball games. And every time that I would do the score for these games, they would pay me $20 for each scorecard. So I could sit there all day, come in. The first game is at 7 a.m. And let's say those games take an hour or 30 minutes. I would stay there all day and end up racking up maybe $200-$300. My math may be off there, but it was a good amount of money. But when the season was over, I didn't have a job. So I'd be laying on the couch watching Ricky Lake or Jerry Springer or some foolery like that. And my grandmother, she had her own law practice. My grandma was an attorney. Yeah. So she would come back from doing her attorney thing, and she would see me laying on the couch, and she would always ask me, did you find a job? Every time. And I'd be like, oh, no, even though I wasn't even looking or whatever. And I know she was just so disappointed in me. And so one day I decided to go to a job fair with my sister and her boyfriend. And I borrowed some clothes from maybe my cousin, a suit jacket, a tie, a dress shirt. Didn't have any of this stuff. And we went to this job fair. And this was in Sacramento, California. If you're familiar with the area, they have a place called Cal Expo, where the state fair usually is. We went there and they had this conference or whatever, and you could literally apply for jobs on the spot. So I came there prepared with a BS resume or whatever, and I was waiting in line as my sister and her boyfriend went to other, lines to try and get hired for a particular job. And I'm just sitting there looking around, and it just seemed like everybody knew each other except me, because they were interacting with one another and talking and yik-yakking. I'm like, oh, okay. And finally, after waiting in this damn line for about an hour, I get up to the front. It's my time to go into the, to the office. I walk up. He tells me to come in. I sit down in the chair, and he asked me, so why do you want this job? Or something like, why do you want to get hired here? And the funny thing is, I didn't even know what the job was. I was just standing in some line, seeing if I could get a job. And when he said that, I thought about it, and I was like, man, I don't even know. I was like, man, thank you for your time. And I walked out just like that. Only applied, I guess you could say applied for one job, walked out. I was good. And so when I got back, found my sister and her boyfriend, they asked me, did you get a job? Did you, interview for any? I was like, man, they was all booked up, lying and shit. So I went back to my grandmother's house and I was laying on the couch, right? She came back from work. She asked me, she said, did you find a job at that job fair? And I said, no, they wasn't hiring. And I just seen her face like kind of all hope was lost because he saw me going down the same aisle, the same road as a lot of California dudes, during that time or whatever. And when I seen her face, I just blurted out, I'm going to join the military. That's simple. And she looked, she kind of turned around and was like, oh, okay. You're going to join the military. She didn't believe me, right? So I had to keep up with this damn lie. And so the next day, I decided to take a bus up to the recruiter station. And on the way to the recruiter station was where my grandmother's law practice was. And that was where my aunties worked. She employed my aunties or whatever. So I stopped by there just to keep the lie going by saying, hey, y'all, I'm just checking in. I'm about to go to the recruiter's office to see what they talking about. Just to keep it up. I had no intentions on joining the military at all. No lie. Right? So I walk up there and it was like, if I know there's some people from Sacramento here, it was on Franklin Boulevard, there was a recruiting station with like 4 different offices. The first one, I believe, was the Marines. Then you had the Army, the Navy, and then the Air Force was at the end, right? So when I walk up there, I got on, I'm California all the way through. I got my Dickies on, you know what I'm saying? I'm cooling, it's hot. And I go up there and I walk up and the Marine guy, he's outside. He's outside like they typically always are because it's tough to get people to join the Marines. So he was there in full dress blues or whatever. He's like, hey, what I'm saying? Oh man, I'm glad to see you, Marine. Come on in, and he's got this pamphlet and he's telling me to come in the office. And I had talked to my cousins before that, and they were in the Marines. And they told me not to join the Marines. They said, no matter what you do, don't ever join the Marines. That's what they told me. So I told him the same thing. I was like, nah, man, my cousins told me not to join. They in the Marines. And I just walked past, oh, man, you don't want to be a real man and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, man, I don't even know what you're talking about. So I went past him. The Army guy was outside as well. And I was, thinking about joining the Army because my dad, and, and I told him, hey, I'll be back, but I'm going to see what's going on or whatever with these other places. But then when I got to, the Navy dude, he had on the whites, I believe. I think he had on the whites. And I just remember that the Navy back in the day, they were wearing the bell-bottom pants with the name on the booty. And we was like, nah. My friend Q, he made this joke a while back when we was in the military. He said the reason why he didn't join the Navy is because black people have a bad history with boats. And he was talking about slavery. And he was like, that's why I didn't join the Navy, because, you get black people on a boat, some things go bad. And I was like, oh, So Navy dude was inside or whatever. I seen him. I was like, nah, I'm good. So I get to the Air Force guy. And this is if there's anybody that was in the Air Force, this is exactly how the Air Force would be. His name was Tech Sergeant Buchanan. And the reason why I know his name is he became one of my mentors while into my journey in the military, because he knew my story, that I didn't plan any of this. But I get to the Air Force office, and I swear to you, it looked like it was closed. It looked like, it was nobody in there. So I'm kind of like looking in there, the lights all low, door closed, and I'm looking like, man, is there anybody in there? And I kind of looked in there, and there was a guy in his blues, and he was just kind of kicked back on the phone. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's a dude in there, so let me go ahead in. So I open the door, and I'm just sitting there, and he's literally talking to probably some girl, right? And he didn't even acknowledge me. He was just sitting there, haha, yeah, saying, yeah, haha, oh, word, And then so I'm waiting for about a good 30 seconds. And finally, he kind of looks up and he's like, he just holds up his finger, like, hold on for a second. I'm like, what? You know, so I'm like, man, what the hell is this dude? And so after he gets out, all right, hold on, man. You know what I'm saying? I got to get to work or whatever. You know, so he hangs up the phone. He kind of leans back in his chair, clasps his hands together like this, and he said, how can I help you? I'm like, brother, I'm in the office. You military. I'm trying to see what's my options. You know what I'm saying? How can I help you? I'm like, what? Typical Air Force. And so I told him, I was like, oh man, I'm trying to join the Air Force. And he looked at me and he said, look, let me tell you something. First of all, you need the Air Force. The Air Force don't need you. I'm like, what the hell? Like, now I really want to join. It was like, oh, bro, you try to act like y'all tough? Now I really want to join out of spite. The funniest shit. And I'm like, well, shit, well, tell me what I need to do, right? And so after I said, well, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to join. And he was like, man, you know, let me sit you down. You know, we do this, do that, show me some pamphlets and shit or whatever. And so I did this all myself, right? Didn't tell my family or anything. I'm going through the whole process of trying to join the Air Force. I had to do the ASVAB. I had to take it twice because I failed the first one, which was crazy. Failed my first ASVAB test. I think I scored like a low, maybe like 39 or some shit. And if you know how the ASVAB is, that is a horrible score. And he was like, man, you scored a 39 or something like that. You get to take it again, but I want you to take these books and I want you to study these books. And he gave me all these big stacks of ASVAB books or whatever. I took those home. All they did was collect dust. And I just waited until the next time it was time for me to take my test. And I was like, well, God got me or whatever. So I go back up there, take my test. Lo and behold, I scored an 88. And he was like shocked. He was like, man, what the? So I wasn't even taking it serious when I took the first test. I scored an 88, which is outstanding, mind you. I qualified for so many jobs. And I told him, like, you know, and he, you know, because they used to give you a little piece of paper with your score. And he said, hey, go take that back to your recruiter. So I gave him my little paper and he was like, what the? He was just shocked. And he just got so happy because he thought I was BSing. And he was like, oh, yeah, this guy is perfect to go to the Air Force. You know what I'm saying? And he's just like laying it out. You could be this. You could be a weatherman, combat weather, if you want to go to that. And I was literally on my way to being a combat weatherman. Or I was going to be a rigger, a parachute rigger, right? And I was just picking, he was like telling me all these jobs. These aren't too taxing. You know, you could do this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, man, that's great. So he drove me to MEPS, you know, after I did all my physical and stuff like that. I had to meet with the job guy where he assigns, you know, your career. And I'd already had in my head that I was going to be a weatherman, right? Whatever, I forgot what the AFSC is, but I was going to be a weather guy. And so that was the whole plan. So I'm sitting in the job guy's office, and after he left to go grab something, I started looking around, you know, looking around his office or whatever. And I'm like, oh, man. So I kind of looked up, and in between, you know, in a glass case, he had a black beret, right? What I thought was black, you know, but it is a dark blue. And I looked at it, and I was like, oh, man, this dude was Special Forces. That's what, you know, my uneducated mind thought security forces was, right? And so when he came back, I just asked him, I said, hey, what is that? I was like, you used to be in the Special Forces? And he was like, nah, man, you know, I used to be, you know, security forces or whatever. And at this time, this was when security forces had just split or just became one particular career field. Because before I joined it, it used to be air-based defense and air police. Basically, the guys that like work the gates or whatever, and the guys that work flight line, airline, airfield security, you know, deployers, things like that. It used to be separated. But when I joined, they joined the career field together, right? And they called it security forces. So he was just like kind of talking it up because they needed people to be security forces, which they always do. It's like one of the worst jobs in the Air Force. That's what people say, right? But it's one of the jobs that's the most structured and the one that gets in the most trouble because you're on those posts for 12, 14 hours, go to sleep, end the career. But but yeah, it's one of the worst jobs, as people say. And so he was trying to fill, I guess, his quota or something like that. So he was like literally talking it up. Yeah, man, you could be a police officer. You can get to carry a weapon. You're going to be breaking down doors and, serving warrants. And he's just like talking it up. You get to train dogs and all this type of mess. And I'm getting all hyped up. And so it's like, he was like, yeah, man, you get to do all this police stuff. And, me being an Eddie Murphy fan, I was like, oh, so I could be just like Axel Foley on Beverly Hills Cop. I'll be carrying a gun, and he was like, yeah, that's what it is. You be just like him. And what sold me was that he said the dorms were co-ed. So we'll be able to have dorms with the girls in there at the same time. That was a whole ass lie. They had their own side, which they used to call the jailhouse. We had our own side. And if you got caught sneaking into the girl side, you get your ass kicked out, right? But anyway, he told me all this, and I'm like hyped up. And I was like, yeah, man, hook me up with security forces. Now, keep in mind, I scored an 88 on my ASVAB. So if I tell you that I got an 88 and I picked security forces and I wasn't forced to get that job, you'd be like, man, this dude is crazy. And that's exactly what my recruiter thought. I came back and I told him, he was like, man, so did you, what job did you pick? And I told him, oh, man, I'm going to be, a cop. I'm going to be in security forces. And he just kind of stopped and he looked. He was like, man, did they tell you to pick that job? I said, no, I chose it because I get to do this, this, and this. And he was listening because he was a fireman, by trade. And he was listening to me describe the job and he knew it didn't have anything to do with whatever the job recruiter told me or whatever, right? And he was like, yeah, it's a pretty good job on the outside if you want to be a cop, and he was kind of trying to keep it going because I guess he knew that they needed more cops. So I became security forces, right? And so maybe about a week before it was time for me to go, and all this transpired within the time frame of like 2 months from me not going to the Air Force to me actually going to going to basic training within 2 months. And so all my family knew was I just kept leaving and I was trying to train at the new 24-hour fitness, to get in shape or whatever, but they didn't know why I was training. They didn't know that I was serious about joining, right? So when it came time about a week out before I was about to ship out and started getting my clothes together, my recruiter came to my grandmother's house and he dropped off some bags, little green, little cylinder bags that we used to carry. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He dropped one off and he came and met the family and everybody was like there at my grandma's house, like looking like, man, who is this guy in this, what was that Dodge Stratus? Yeah, they used to have the Dodge Stratus cars. He was driving one of the company Dodge Stratus cars in his uniform, dropped off the bag, and he's, how you doing, ma'am? Shaking everybody's hand. And they were kind of like shocked, like, why is this dude being so formal and why is he here for you dropping off bags? And I told them, I was like, man, I told you I was joining the Air Force. And they was like, what? They're like, what? You really joining the Air Force? I'm like, yeah. I'm leaving next week. And that's when everybody started crying. They didn't believe me. They didn't believe that I was going to join the Air Force. And I joined the Air Force based off of a lie that I didn't even have no intentions of doing, right? And so that week comes, my sister, my brother, my mom, they dropped me off. We cry, hug or whatever. And that was actually my first time getting on an airplane, right? Going to San Antonio. Went up to, the airport and I shipped off and went to basic training and literally never looked back. And now I've been to it'll be my 50th country coming up very shortly. 20 years retired military, 10 deployments, 3 combat tours. I mean, 4 degrees and here I am now. So, so that is the story of how I joined the Air Force. Not too honorable, was it? Because I know people always got these stories of, oh man, my dad's dad was a pilot and he did this. No, my ass, I just joined because I was trying to get my grandma off my back. So 20 years later, here I am. Welcome. I hope y'all enjoyed that story. You probably, man, nobody would lie about a story like, no, it's not a lie at all. So, oh man, that's funny. We got time. That's good stuff, man. I think about that, and I'm like, man, that was crazy. But yeah. Let's see here. We got Startup Talk 499 Super Chat. Thank you, brother. Said, can you cover volunteering among men? Black men are second most likely and number one in mentoring youth. Yeah, I discussed volunteering a while ago in one of the live streams. Maybe I need to clip it up. But yeah, man, put some info out there. You know what I'm saying? We doing good. But I did put I did a video, well, not a video, a segment on volunteer. So thank you, brother. Let's see here. Nanga, what's going on, brother? With the 499 Super Chat, said one of the sixes is erroneous. The women want 6 inches flaccid. Remember, the 6 inches have to be rare. That's funny. And oh man, my guy Salty Balls. Let me go update the banner. He says with the $50 Super Chat, he said many fantasies, legends, and myths have met their demise with the medium man, armed with thine shield of accountability and sword of truth. But his greatest weapon is a mechanism of numbers, figures, and charts. Thine smite thine enemies into obscurity. Man, this dude is so cold with the wordplay, brother. Man, that's just cold. Thank you. And make sure you put your links in the description, man. Hold on, mute. Get that. Hold on 1 second. There you go. Thank you, good brother. Always appreciate the support. And again, put your links in there, Machismo TV, all that, man, so people can get up over there. Thank you, brother. Dante Bryant, my guy, he said, dang, I forgot you were going live. Yeah, man. Now it's a show. We got Dante Bryant with the $5 Super Chat. 15 and running. 15 show sponsors at some point. We'll just say that. 15 donations. Thank you, brother. Good to see you. This is Alex Minor with 499 Super Chat said Medium Man Origins coming soon to a theater near you. Yeah. Let me see. Let me see if I can get this right. A split Jim 56 with the 999 Super Chat said currently an Army recruiter in the BX. I'm crying. Oh, there we go. We got a recruiter there, man. Yeah, if I wouldn't have joined the Air Force, it would definitely been the Army, but I've worked so close with the Army for my whole career. I mean, it's kind of like the same thing. So yeah, I actually worked for the Army as a civilian for about 8 months. So let's see. Arthur Reese Johnson, who's that N-word on that neck? Django. Yeah, when the recruiter showed up, he's like, who is this N-word in these blues dress clothes? Oh, man. Man, you're laughing faces, man. Media man, I'm glad you can laugh about this. Oh, yeah, man, he got me. He definitely snuck me with the security forces thing. Now that I think about it, you know, I was like kind of surprised because after you finish basic training, security forces, our tech school was at Lackland Air Force Base. And we had one of the worst dorms. They used to call it the jailhouse. And it was the worst. It was like all the way in the back or whatever. There's always some issues going on. water didn't work and some, all the time. And when we drove up to it in that bus, we just kind of did a loop around, you know what I'm saying? I think we had like maybe a day or two before we had to report. And we just did a whole little bus trip around and got dropped off. And literally we thought it was going to be different because, you go from basic training, getting yelled at. And I know Air Force basic training pales in comparison to like Marines, Army, so on and so forth. But all you know is that you were getting yelled at for 6-7 weeks in basic. And you like, okay, when I go to tech school, everything is going to be different. Yeah. No, it was worse. It was worse. Security Forces Tech School was the worst thing ever. Because when we got off that damn bus, it was a young airman. He was a one striper, and he gets on the bus and he cussing us out. Get off the bus. We like, man, we just got done with basic. Why are we getting cussed out again? And we had to literally like line up in front of like, I think it was some dummy M16s and all kinds of gear and shit. And he's yelling at us. And I could have swore that I had the wrong career because I thought I was going to be a police officer. Right. And I told him I had my little paper. Anybody in the military that used to give you that little paper with your orders. And I showed him. I was like, hey, man, I think I'm in the wrong. I'm in the wrong tech school. I'm supposed to be a police or whatever. Dude looked at my paper and he just started yelling at me, get off the bus. You in the right place. And I was like, oh, this MF got me. You know what I'm saying? And we did all air-based defense ground training for like a good 2.5 months. And then at the end of our, when we were about to graduate, we did literally about 2 weeks of police training. And that was about it. It probably wasn't even 2 weeks. It was probably less than that. We was all in the field shooting M16s and movements. And I was like, man, this is not what I signed up for. They didn't got me. You know what I'm saying? But it taught me a lot, man. If I wasn't security forces when I joined the military, I probably would have got kicked out because I needed the structure. Because I told you guys, I grew up in a single parent household, single mother household. So I needed that structure from male leadership, learn how to be a leader. You take care of a team lead, things of that nature. So yeah, if I would have been in any other career field, it probably wouldn't have got me right like security forces did. Ain't nothing like taking care of a weapon, man. And my Army folks, they understand what I'm talking about. If they tell you can't get, stop dragging the muzzle in the dirt, don't leave your weapon, make sure you take care of it, you clean it, so on and so forth. Man, it'll teach you a lot about accountability because you do not want to be that guy that leaves your weapon at the firing range or you leave it on the bus, and he was definitely afraid of where my weapon. So yeah, it taught me so much, man. And I had an outstanding career as security forces. I spent about 7 years in SF, and then I retrained into medical because I wanted to be there for my daughter a little bit more. But lo and behold, I went another route, in medical and ended up deploying 5 times as a medic and getting involved in SOFME, Special Operations Forces, medical element. Became an air advisor, worked public health, deployed preventative medicine, all types of stuff, man. So it was just crazy. So, but yeah, I probably would have been kicked out if I wasn't security forces. So damn sure would have. I know that for a fact. Oh, man. Let's see. Mike Ruck said, I felt bad watching SF not leaving basic with us. They went across the street. Yeah, man. It's right around the little corner. Daryl Edison said the supplies dorms were trash as well. Yeah. Supply used to have some bad girls. If I remember. Yeah, Supply used to have them though. Man. Because we used to go to, what was that? Was it the Warhawk? No. Was it the Warhawk? What was that little club? The BX, what was that? The BDU Boogie or some shit like that. It was like a little club that we were able to go to when we got our little phases. And you used to be partying in your BDUs or whatever. Yeah, and Supply used to always have them. I remember it was a bad dark skin. Oh, let me stop. Y'all get me in trouble. Yeah. That was fun fact. That was that was the first time that I had any interaction with Southern women. And it was a complete culture shock. I'm like, man, who are all these beautiful, busty, big bootied with this Southern twang that's sitting here looking at me, smiling? Who are these women? Where do you guys come from? I was just so amazed by Southern women, man. I was like, Lord have mercy. Y'all, whew, no. Did I read that? Let's see. Cloud House ENT said, I became a medic because they said you'd be in the hospital. They didn't lie. It was a field hospital. Brother, I've shared pictures of where I used to be. Man, the worst places. Forward deployed. So I was going to places that wasn't even built up yet. That was my job. So if you guys don't know, public health in the Air Force has many different jobs. And sometimes you get attached to certain units to where you have enough experience where they'll take you to go ahead and site survey to make sure that the place that we want to put a base or a forward operating base, we have to go there first to see if it's safe. It has enough water source where we can clean it, things we can sustain it. And that used to be my happy ass going into these foreign countries with a small unit, seeing if we can build a base here. That was one of my jobs. So pretty sure Air Force know about this. So. Alex Miner said, how you eventually move up, get out of security forces. It was easy back then. You could just apply. And even that's a funny story. I was supposed to go to optometry, but my class seat they gave it to a pipeliner, like somebody that was new. So about, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks before I was supposed to go to tech school for optometrist, or technician or whatever. They give this, called me and was like, hey, your job just got assigned to a pipeliner. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? It's like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll get you another job here shortly. I'm like, okay, cool. Keep in mind, I had already out-processed security forces. I was just waiting to leave, right? And so I had to tell my commander, I was like, hey, my job got switched or whatever from, optometry tech, and I'm just waiting. He's like, oh, okay, cool. Because we all thought that they would just give me a job that would be the same date as the start date of the public health tech school or the optometry tech school. But when they contacted me like a day later, they say, oh, yeah, we got you a position in public health. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And they say, yeah, your report date is March. And I was like, March? It was August. It was August, right? And I'm like, man, what you mean March? I'm already, out processed. Like, man, what am I going to do? So it's like, well, yeah, it's the only job we can get you. You report in March or whatever. I'm like, damn. So I had to go back to my commander and I told him like, hey, they got me a new job, but I don't leave until March. And he looked around and I had so many qualifications at the time. He's just like, oh, he's like, look on the board. I was like, oh, well, you can deploy. You can deploy. And that just got back, mind you. This was in the height of Operation, Iraqi freedom, all that type of stuff. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, man, we need, somebody, who's experienced to go on this deployment. So there my happy ass go. Back in September, I'm back in Iraq for 4 or 5 months before I had to go to public health. So literally right before I started my public health tech school, I had just came back from the desert in Iraq. That is my story. Yeah, my luck, man. Oh, man. Let's see here. Uh, yeah, Clubhouse, NT, Fort Benning, baby. Oh yeah, of course, went to airborne school there. Didn't really have much time to see the women, but Biggie Sharp, Columbus, GA. Yeah, oh Lord. Reese Johnson said, "Now where did I put my AK-47?" Were you out of Tampa? No, but I did spend some time in Tampa. What is that road? My car actually broke down on, was that JFK Road in Tampa? Was that yeah, Tampa, Ybor City or whatever? Yeah. My car broke down because I was going there to go chill with my homeboys when I was stationed in Valdosta, and I got an oil change before I left the base, and they didn't screw on the little cap at the bottom tight enough, and it actually came off. But I literally drove from Valdosta to Tampa and didn't have any issues until I got on JFK Road, and my car literally locked up and shut down. Basically, it just slow drained the oil out of the car, slow drained while I was driving, and it just tore up my engine. So they had to do an investigation, and they found out that it was their fault, and they paid for it. I had a rental car, so I had to get a new engine for my car and all types of stuff. It was crazy. So my first time going to Tampa wasn't good, but I did go back recently. Well, in 2000, was that 19? Was it 2020, 2021? Because I was looking for a place to build a new home, and Tampa was actually on the list. So I went there to go look at a couple homes before I landed in Houston. So that's my Tampa stories. Terrell Evans said, a phenomenal journey that alone will inspire you. Yeah, man, it's it's just crazy. Let's see. Daryl Edison said BDU Club. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Mike Ruck said the baddest women still come from Supply. What is Supply called now? LRS? Is LRS now? Yeah. Ray, that's Southern Hospitality. Yeah, man, ain't nothing like it. I mean, Virginia women is the same. You know what I mean? That's what is that, the Mason-Dixon line? It's, you know, yeah. So I had to put that in there because, you know, but Virginia women the same. But yeah, all them damn Southern women, oh, Lord have mercy. Glow. I said, oh God. Trail Miller said Med Group and Intelligence got the baddest ladies. Yeah, the medics, yeah, always got the best looking women. Yeah, I know. Let's see here. Dante Bryce said, oh yeah, corn-fed, polite, and will take care of you. Real Southern belles anyway. Yeah, man. I don't know what it is. So, well, that's what it is. So, Big E Sharp said that Southern cooking, put it on these women. You spent time in Tallahassee, you know. Oh yeah, yeah. All them, man. Tallahassee got some of the where they used to have these backwater clubs, you know. And that's the first, man. Should I say this? Can I say this on live? Let's just say in Tallahassee, I never went to a liquor store to buy my liquor. So if you from that area, you know what I'm talking about. So never went to a liquor store to buy liquor. So we'll just leave it at that. So do with that information what you will. JT Coin Rigs with 499 super chat. Hello, media man in chat. It's a show now. JT showed up. Young boy, 13 said, hell yeah, sir. Had to get those deployability numbers up. Oh, yeah, and it definitely worked out. That was one of my best deployments. I ain't even lie to you. Clubhouse ENT said, if anyone went to Fort Sam Houston, is the Hacienda still there? Oh, man, I never been there, but I heard about. I've been to Fort Sam Houston for training. Worked out there, but I think you're talking about the little club or whatever. Yeah, I didn't get a chance. Mike Ruck said, wow. Yeah, deployment. So Mike Ruck said, yes. Oh, yeah, logistics readiness squadron. Yeah, LRS. Yep. Oh, man. But yeah. Yeah, Dante, I never went to, I didn't even know that Tallahassee had liquor stores. And because it wasn't necessary. I was able to acquire whatever we needed from other places, other avenues of approach. So, oh man, So let's continue. We all off topic. I told you I could talk about military stories all day. Let's keep it going. So, and of course, y'all knew this was coming up. Y'all definitely knew this was coming up. Get in the effing gym. And like I said, I did tell you to become Ronnie Coleman, but health as well. So at the very least, get into the kind of shape that you're not afraid to be seen naked in front of the woman that you're dealing with. Yeah, guys. So yeah, I heard guys, and this was foreign to me. It's dudes that's saying that they can only have sex with the lights off because they're ashamed for the woman to see their body or something like that. Nah, brother, you need to be in shape to where you can be sitting there posing after you hit it right. Pause. But but yeah, don't ever be in that position where you scared to get butt ball in front of your girl, man. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Get in the gym. Get right. And I put this fifth because I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. Women don't care about character if all the other things are required these days. And even the good women, they'll lie and say, yeah, character is the most important. It's not. Don't, like I said, you do not need women to acknowledge this on any platform. Just know that it's true. Even though character should be at the top of the list, right? It's not for most women. But I did put this in there because it is very important. Step 5 is build character. And the way that you do that, give you a couple of tips here, guys. Practice humility, but never humble yourself. That's something that the black community likes to do to black men. I don't know if you guys remember that that lawyer. I forgot his name. He had just graduated. Black lawyer, young black man, just graduated, got his degree or whatever. And he just put on his Instagram, I believe, that he was like the prize. And he was just going off. Let me explain. I'm a black man. It's only a certain amount of black men that get degrees. It's only a certain black men that become lawyers. I don't have kids. I'm in shape, blah, blah. And he just was like saying, this is why I'm the prize, right? Here you go. CJ King. There. Okay, yeah, that's what his name was. Yeah, y'all remember that. So, yeah. So, and everybody was trying to degrade him to the point that they were saying that, oh, you didn't even, pass the bar yet and all this type of foolery. And they tried to humble him, but he stood on business. And I also saw a lot of black men stand up for him. One of them was Kevin Samuels. That was when I first started hearing Kevin Samuels after I've been watching the style videos where he was talking about CJ King and how they tried to humble this young black man for just stating the obvious fact, right? And that's what the black community likes to do for accomplished black men. I remember that woman called in on Kevin Samuels' show. I see you got your little YouTube channel, right? And they'll try and, downplay your accomplishments. No, I like the fact that I have a platform and I can tell black men, no, I want you to put all that shit in their face. You can always be humble, but never humble yourself. If they ask you a question about your qualifications or education, background, what you have accomplished, hey, answer it and be prideful with it and tell them straight up, this is what I do. This is what I've accomplished. And these are my requirements. And that's why I always tell men to stand on your preferences and requirements that you have for women. Don't dumb it down for anybody. You don't have to, right? So that's why I say always be humble, but never humble yourself. It's a complete difference, right? I just want to be clear on that. Also, building character, become a man of principle and values. So I'm going to leave this up here. So the way that you can do that is when you have a certain value system that you live by, where you say that, hey, I'm going to make this a standard for myself and I'm not going to deviate from it. That is something like looks good in society and also with women, right? So that's another step or a way to build better character. Be intentional with creating good habits and the goals that you set. Good habits such as I'm going to wash my clothes every Sunday. I'm going to deep clean. I'm going to wash the floor, floorboards and all this stuff, every 2 weeks. I'm going to mop the floors, just those good habits, right? Those are things that you can do to build character because it's nothing wrong with routine, right? but you can always add things and add more routine to your, way on building character. Not saying that you got to stay there. You can always add more things, but a routine is never a bad thing. And keep up with the goals that you set, especially if you share your goals with the woman that you're courting for marriage. And then I have to make this distinction because every woman won't get these types of talks because you have wives and you have other things. Some women are simply useful to the group. Some women need to be vetted for wives. This is a conversation that you have with your wife. So if you have certain goals and you tell her, make sure you're intentional. Don't just be spewing out a lot of foolery saying, oh, I want to buy this, or I want to do this, I want to own property. And you're just saying, I want to, but she don't see no progress. Then that's a bad sign for a good woman because it seems like you're making promises that you can't keep. That makes sense? Right? So just, make sure you remember that. Also, keep your promises, but if you can't keep your promise, have the common decency to explain why. And this is where a lot of men fail in these spaces because y'all swear that you could just be this big bad alpha male, beat on your chest and tell a woman to do this and do that, and without explaining why. No, if time permits that you can explain why, I'm telling my wife or my girlfriend that she needs to do this, then go ahead and do so. Because everybody wants an explanation if they can get it. But if you don't have time to give an explanation, when you have to make a decision for the both of you, then you've already built up that trust currency to where she trusts your decision making. So if you're out on a date and you're the man, you're scanning the area and you see something that you could potentially go wrong, and you look at your girl or your wife and you say, hey, let's go right now. She's not going to sit there and say, why? I didn't even get a chance to get ice cream. She going to look at you, see that you're serious, and she going to get her ass up out of there. Right? And the way that you build that is by building trust throughout the relationship and viewing her as an adult and telling her why this is why you can't buy this right now because our budget doesn't permit, because such and such, we have to pay this. And then you have to remember that we have this payment that's coming out for whatever. Then it'll start to click in her head like, oh man, I forgot about that. I'm glad you pointed it out. Yeah, you're right. And then you'd be like, yeah, but we'll revisit this next month because we should have this coming in. I will be able to make, more money on this, and I'll be able to get that for the house. That makes sense, guys? It's just the common decency, brothers. That's all I'm saying. So, yes, hopefully all this stuff makes sense. So, Reese Johnson said, trash a future lawyer, but celebrate Pookie that just got out of jail. It's funny every time, brother. I don't get it. I don't. So, Ray, except for when it comes to women, they don't like routine. They need chaos. Hey, they ain't got nothing to do with you. And honestly, I want men to be more comfortable with holding women accountable for all of the healing that they say that they're doing. Y'all hear these conversations all the time. Black women are supposedly doing all this healing. We're on our healing journey. I've taken time for myself. I need to get to know myself. But then when you get into a relationship with one of these women and you figure out that she isn't healed, call her out on it and leave. That is not your responsibility to build this woman up into a respectable woman, especially if you're older. You don't have time for that foolery. Back in the day, that's what they used to teach black men. Flaws and all. Take me as I am. That shit is over with. You know what I'm saying? It's a new day, bro. If you say that y'all are healed, then we're going to hold you accountable and make sure that you're healed. But if we figure out that you're not healed enough to be in a relationship with me, a guy who is healed, then I'm out the door. Why do I owe any explanation or trying to teach you? A grown woman, educate her on how to deal with her issues that she hasn't fixed yet? No, don't have time, right? And honestly, this don't just go for men, but I have to use this example from the male's point of view because it's typically women, boasting in the black community saying that they've done all this healing work, right? Hold them accountable. Make sure you do that. And you have every right to leave. You are not liable or responsible for making sure that this woman becomes a better woman. An older woman? Hell no. Because we all know that older women, may have more relationships, more relationship trauma. I expect you to go get that taken care of. Go to therapy. If you haven't been to therapy and you expected some man to just accept you the way that you are, unhealed, and he's healed, that shit is over. I'm sorry. So hold these women accountable, man. If they say that they're healed, make sure. That's all I'm saying. Let me see. Let me get a couple of these. Nap, he said, brothers need to learn that everybody is an alpha. Some of us are sigmas, and some of you, oh man, you can't say that word here, brother. Jesus Christ. Y'all be forgetting where y'all at. You gotta go. All right. Glow said, nah, when they go out their way to be a threat to you just so they can impose the concept in your mind. Yeah, we got to get out of that. Cortez Smith said, Medium Man, black women were literally celebrating Fleece Johnson. They said he was so, what? The booty warrior? Lord have mercy. It's just too wild. Yeah, I'm all about treating women like adults. So it is what it is. So let's keep with this building character thing. So pay attention to this. I said, try not to lie. Nobody is perfect. So I would not be able to sit up here on this platform and be like, oh man, I never lied. I never, I never told a lie. No, you try your best not to lie. Sometimes people lie to protect somebody else's feelings, so it's not realistic for me to get up here and say, never lie, because I would be lying because I've lied before. Right. But you just got to make sure that you try not to make that a habit. You know what I'm saying? And I know that sounds crazy. And I know people want everybody to be perfect, but we're all human and we all F up. And lying is sometimes you mess up when you lie. So it is what it is. So I just want to be clear. Then next is practice self-discipline. And this is for the guys who are pussy hounds. All pussy ain't good pussy. If you're known as a man who'll hit anything, your friends are laughing at you and not with you. Quality over quantity. Don't indulge in harmful vices. Yeah, if y'all don't know, if you that one dude in the circle that, you know what I'm saying, y'all out in the club at 3 a.m. get hit and y'all parking lot pimping and you see that big girl come around, oh man, I got to get something. Anybody in the chat? Was that you? Jay, that you? As you pull that big girl, you know what I'm saying? I know people, all big girls aren't easy. Like, go listen to my video that I did on big girls. They'll tell you. They'll tell you what's going on. So, yeah, don't be that guy, man. They not, laughing with you. They laughing at you, brother. So you got to raise your standards. And when I say raise your standards, I'm not telling you to get Miss Richie Rich or something like that. No. Just make sure that you vet these women properly because that makes a difference. You need to start, and I know it's tough, college guys, y'all all in college, everybody wild, you're doing what you do. I understand that. But when you get into your 30s, your late 20s, your 30s, you got to start paying attention to the type of women that you deal with. You need to only deal with women who have something to lose. And when I say something to lose, they understand how the law works. They have a career, they have a job, they have, degrees and so on and so forth, right? So if something happens, she's going to be hesitant, most likely, she's going to hesitate to break up all your stuff in your house or slash the tires because she know that you're going to call the cops on her ass. And that might negatively affect her job or something like that, her career. So you gotta start dealing with a better caliber of women and hold yourself to a higher standard. And I know I put that video out there saying that, yeah, these women are useful to the group. I didn't say anything about them being hood rats. I'm not telling y'all to date women who are, aren't doing anything for themselves. I'm telling you to make sure you listen to the women who are consider themselves good women, they're accomplished, and use them for what they want. You can do that. So it makes sense. So let me see. Recent negative. Benny said, man, I was the Marine, so you know that was me. Marines. You seen that meme, Benny, where it's like it was a dog behind a pig, and it was like some Marines or something. Hey, because y'all don't be getting that much time off, man. So when y'all hit the town, hey, you gotta get what Denzel say? I'm leaving there with something. That's the Marines motto. It's like I'm leaving there with something. Because the Air Force, you ain't got to look too far. Damn near all the beautiful women in there. So, oh man. Emmanuel Duck said never down that bad. E305 said nah, never that. Fight back, Jay. Fight back. Let me see what Jay say. Where Jay at? No, don't run, Jay. Yeah, we need to know. Big E Sharp said these men going to raise their standards. They're going to try and get that lawyer from your last video. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like her standard, man, is her standard. And she's okay to have that. It was dudes pissed off that woman said, hey man, I'm making this amount of money. Do you qualify? I need a man on my level. That's her right. What is hypergamy, right? So if she making, let's say she making $300,000, $400,000 a year. I mean, of course, her being an in shape black woman with no kids, and I found out, I'm gonna correct myself, she's only 34, right? I said she was probably a little over 35. I was just putting together the years of school or whatever, but yeah, that was a mistake on me. She's only 34, right? But yeah, so she's around that age. So she like, man, yeah, I need, this is my standard. At that point, what can you do? If you don't qualify, it is what it is. So she got to deal with it. So Azrael said, unless she's Janet Jackson, and why did I get married? That's funny. Oh man, Glow said, nah. I seen a Marine on TikTok chatting up a chow hall worker. That's funny. Oh man. Yeah, Benny though, man. I love the Marines, man. I've never had more fun with a group of people than Marines. And it was funny story. I gotta say, man, see, y'all gonna have me. This show gonna be long as hell if I keep saying these stories, but I gotta talk about this. This is hilarious. I told you guys that I went to joint NCOA, and that's where everybody was involved, right? All services, we all there getting our little non-commissioned officer academy, whatever. And so when we get there, everybody in there, nice uniforms. And Marines, of course, they're there and they in their nice uniforms. Marines got the coldest uniforms. It is what it is. But you kind of like when you work out, you automatically like create a bond. First day there, who did I befriend? The Marines, because they were the ones that was in shape. So when they seen me as a Air Force guy, they're like, man, what the hell? Why is this dude so swelled and swole? So we, and I was in my peak shape too. I was competing. I have a picture of this where I was shaking the Sergeant Major of the Marines' hands. I think his name was Sergeant Major Battaglia. Yeah, if you remember that, Benny, I think it was Battaglia. I'll find it throughout the show. But yeah, so we became friends like all immediately. And so there was this Marine girl there, and she was acting like a typical, like what you would think a Marine would act like in a movie, like really hardened and and standing at parade rests and all these types of things. And the guys, they were just so chill and relaxed. And people started asking questions like, man, does she always act like that? And the Marine guys was like, man, she's admin. She don't know what she's doing. And all these dudes was like, wartime guys or whatever. And they was like, she's just admin. She's just doing that or whatever. It was so funny. I was like, oh, okay. Because it was crazy. She was the one that stuck out and they just had to set the record straight. It was so funny, man. But I had such a great time out there. I wish the admin girl, she was really into it, man. But It was a great time. Great time. I'm gonna find that picture. I'm gonna show y'all. May have it somewhere over here. I don't know. I'll find it. All right, let's get to it. We on building character since we talk about other stuff. These have been some great shows this week. Oh man. Where did I leave off? Right here. It's your fault, so be accountable. For example, if you choose the wrong woman, be accountable for picking her. But that doesn't mean that she wasn't wrong, and it also doesn't mean that you can't learn from the experience. Understand where you went wrong and make corrections moving forward. And I explained this in an older video where I was telling guys, man, yes, we are responsible for the women that we decide to entertain. And if she turns out to be a woman that you had a child with and she don't let you have your kids, you will not get any sympathy in the black community. Let a black man go out there and say that, oh man, my baby mama ain't shit. You know what they're gonna tell you? You picked her. On the flip side, if you get black women saying, hey, my baby daddy ain't shit, you know they're gonna tell you? They're gonna tell her, you right, girl. He ain't shit. So at either way, man, you got to be responsible. If the kid is here and she doing you wrong, there's nothing you can do. But like I said, that doesn't necessarily make her not wrong. You know, she's wrong. But you chose her, and you just got to deal with the situation, you know, as it plays out, man. I'm sorry, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is, you know. So I don't know what to tell you about that. Also, learn to appreciate women for other things than sex. Engage in meaningful conversations with women, whether they're attractive or not. And I know that's tough for a lot of guys because they're like, man, I only try and congregate with beautiful women. Like, brother, that ain't gonna necessarily happen all the time, right? I think I just had one of the best conversations with an older, chubby black woman in Chase Bank, right? High interest, savings accounts and things like that. We went over there and she was just so nice. My goodness, man. And then I'm getting some automated blinds put up in my room, my master bedroom. And the woman who came in and did the console, the older white woman, we had a great conversation. She was only supposed to be here for 20 minutes. She was here for like maybe 45. And we just yakking and talking or whatever, about family and shit like that. Brother, have some meaningful conversations with women. And even if you're attracted to the woman, don't be, what the kids say, thirsty. Do they say that still? Is that new? Is that old? Thirsty? Don't be thirsty, man. You know what I'm saying? If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. She'll get to it. But if you're having a meaningful conversation, typically women who have something going for themselves, they want to keep in touch with you, whether that be on a romantic level or they deem you as somebody who's valuable or useful to the group, so to speak, right? And you can go from there. But make sure you try and have some meaningful conversation with women and stop thinking with your dick. Shout out to Sugar Free. Don't be thinking with your dick, boy. So, yeah. Reason to define meaningful. Just I wouldn't say anything that doesn't revolve around dating and relationships. You don't have to be going out there repeating conversations from the internet and things like that. I'm talking about something that has to do with growth, maybe fitness. Women say that they, involved in finances. Maybe she knows something about the stock market. You could probably mention something about, man, I shouldn't give this. Hydrogen. Let's talk about hydrogen, investing in hydrogen companies. Because if y'all haven't been paying attention, this is not financial advice. But start looking into hydrogen. That's all I'm going to say. Look at the companies that are publicly traded and do your research. That's all I'm going to say. But that's a nice little heads up. Not financial advice, just a little. Yeah. So, but yeah, so have some conversations, some meaningful conversations. Everything ain't got to be geared around trying to sneak in or get a date with her. Just talk. It is what it is, and don't pay her no attention, man. It's good. In regards to like sex, or whatever you're trying to get from her. Because we all know no man is different. Like I said, Steve Urkel and Stefan Urkel, same guys. They all wanted to sneak in with Laura. So, oh man. So I just wanted to, put that out there. So Steve and them ain't different. So let's continue. Let me see here. All right. Step 6. Women are not sugar and spice and everything nice. Treat them like adults because adults aren't perfect. I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory. And I'm saying this for a particular reason. Ladies be using all type of excuses. On my monthly cycle. That's why I'm acting crazy. Gatorade is in Megatron, and that's why I'm acting the way I am acting. Oh man, Mercury is in Megatron right now, so that's why my attitude is off because my stars and my circles and my squares. Shut up, ain't got time for all that. But treat them like adults, man. That's all they are. Because when you put them up on a pedestal, then you deify them, and then when they mess up, then you guys end up hating all women. Like, no, women F up just like men. So make sure you approach them as such, and also understand that they do have feelings and they use them more than we do externally. Internally, men, we may feel a little bit different, right? But externally, yes, you see more women exuding, more feelings than we do. So just acknowledge that. Don't some of these podcasts, man, they kind of forget that. Like, you can't sit there, you can't sit on a show and the whole conversation is about women and all their flaws and expect the black women who are listening to be okay with that. Even though it may be true, just think about it. If you had to go through a whole 4-hour discussion where everybody is telling you, hey man, y'all effing up here, y'all effing up here, y'all effing up here, and they just supposed to sit there with a smile on their face like, oh yeah, continue, kind sir. Like, no, they got feelings. They're going to feel some type of way like, man, F all y'all. Like, what? F all y'all. I don't want to hear about you holding us accountable. Hell no. So, yeah, they got feelings too, man. Just make sure you understand that. So I did. Okay, I said women will F up from time to time, but if it's worth addressing, approach the conversation with empathy because women have feelings. If you find yourself course correcting a woman consistently, get rid of her. Being that women are adults, sometimes they will actually do things intentionally to see if they can get away with it. Cut your losses and start over with a new woman. Basically what we call in these circles a shit test. Women do that even though they won't admit to this. And again, don't go on nobody's panel show. Y'all shit test men. No, we don't. They don't owe you explanation. Just understand that it's true. And sometimes it might be inherent. They're not even doing it with the thought process of doing it on purpose. It just happens because they always want to see how far they can push the line, right? And if you feel yourself kind of having to correct a woman, every week, you know what I'm saying? Then that's a sign that, man, you probably shouldn't be with this girl because she ain't learning. She ain't listening. She just don't want to do it, right? So at that point, release her back in the streets. Hi ho, it's back to the streets you go. Let her cook. She good. Oh man. Let's continue, Wayne. Step 7. Your friend circle is a reflection of you. That is true as hell. And it's funny. You know how you judge women off, their friend circle? If she hang around hoes, then she must be a hoe. We've heard this before. Let me show y'all something real quick. And this is women being sneaky.
Oh, you got a bunch of hoe friends. What that make you?
A gardener. Keep a tool in the shed.
We can play it again. Here we go.
Niggas always want want to talk about, oh, you got a bunch of hoe friends. What that make you?
A gardener. Keep a tool in the shed.
All right. I don't know if you heard her. It was rather low, but she said men always talking about why you got a bunch of hoe friends. What that make you? And the older woman said a gardener. I keep a tool in the shed. So she's trying to make light out of guys judging women off of the company that the women keep, right? But either way, our assumptions are good enough. Like I said, all this wordplay about saying that, oh yeah, I'm a gardener, I keep a tool in the shed. Men don't care about none of that shit. If we find out that you have a whole friend circle that's going out there doing dirt, and women F up so much in this area, this is what women will do. They'll sit there and pillow talk with you and tell you about the whole shit that their friends do. But we supposed to believe that you're the only one that was sitting in the corner with a halo on while your friends were out there twerking on somebody's hood on Miami South Beach or some shit. And you was just, oh, y'all, man, we shouldn't be doing that. No, we need to go to church on Sunday. Sorry, no, get off that hood, girl. Yeah, that's your girl. She the only one that wasn't engaging or indulging in that foolery, in that ratchetness, right? And she'd get up under you. Yeah, my girl, this and that. She did this, and she had sex with 2 guys. She got 2 babies by 2 different men, and she was married at the time. And she's telling you all this about her friends, and you just sitting there listening like, shit, and why the fuck you hanging around with these women? Like, is that you too? Did I pick one of you? That's where women mess up, because men internalize all that stuff, and they're like, oh, I'm going to keep that in mind, because I'm not going to sit there and believe that you was the only one that was being righteous. If that was the case, you would have used some discernment and stopped hanging around them women. That's a tip for y'all. If a woman is always complaining about her friends doing whole shit and she ain't stopped hanging with them, guess what? She was doing whole activities. What was that Ludacris song? With whole tendencies. Hoes are your friends. Hoes are your enemies. So yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. It's good. It's cool that you assume. It's all right. Don't. Yeah, it's it's good enough. But on the men's side, yeah, your friends are a reflection of you. If you bring one of your lady friends around, she will judge you based off the company you keep, just like we judge women. So I had to explain that to you guys. It's the same way. And even women are a little bit more sinister with it. Now they're saying that, hey, when you go around your male, go in your man's friends, and you find out you got the ugly one in the group. That's so effed up, man. I seen a video of a girl. She like walks into the room and she's looking around like, oh man, I got the ugly dude of the group, So effed up, man. But yeah, it's a true story. True story, brothers. Let's see. Step 8, integrity. Try to do what's right when no one is looking. And that's one of the first Air Force core values, but it applies to everybody, integrity first, right? See here. I did I made sure I put an emphasis on this. I said try. We all F up, but try not to make it a habit. I mean, that's very simple, right? And then I know guys are gonna get pissed off at this, but step 9 in regards to dealing with women, manners. If no men are opening doors, set yourself aside, because that's the narrative out here, right? Men aren't chivalrous anymore. They don't open doors. They don't hold out a chair, so on and so forth, right? It doesn't cost you anything to do that with the woman that you're vetting for a relationship or marriage. Why would you not want to do that? Oh, shit. What happened? I messed up something. Okay. Yeah. Why wouldn't you want to do that? So you can set yourself aside from the other. And I have to be clear, because when I say things like this, the first thing that guys do, you guys will go to the negative. These women don't deserve, to get the doors open. I'm like, brother, why are you dealing with the woman who don't deserve her doors being opened? That's on you, right? I just want to be clear. We over here we look at the glass half full. We already know the what women do, and sometimes I'll do videos just to remind y'all of the foolery that some women can do. But to be clear, man, when you're dealing with women, you always go in, full steam ahead. There's really not much you can do. Why would you be dealing with a less than woman who you feel that doesn't deserve her doors open, or the chair being pulled out, certain things like that. I mean, hey, this week walking on the side of the street, so on and so forth. It is what it is. That should be simple. Did I put anything? Yeah, I did. Okay, then step 10 is the most important rule into being a maintenance man is bringing something to the bedroom. And I'm going to be perfectly clear with y'all, brothers. You will never be that guy if you're not that guy. Don't be an eater. I just found that out. I just found out that some men are signing up to be a designated pussy eater and thinking that counts as a sexual encounter. I swear on everything I love, there was a woman on Kendra G's show that said that she invites men over just to eat her box, and then they get up, wipe their mouths, and leave. Are you that guy? Is anybody that guy? You should be ashamed of your damn self. And they call him an eater. Don't be an eater. You know what I'm saying? You just going over some woman's house and she calling you over to get some head, and you get your ass up and leave? Like, what? Where these new dudes is crazy. Like, that's the craziest shit. Well, it better not be none of y'all in there, man. IQS said, yeah, Meaty Man, you and El Guapo covered that about a year ago. Yeah. We sure did. Yeah. El Guapo, beautiful lies, man. I love his content, man. Cortez Smith, designated pea eaters get no respect from women. Yeah. The ghost said, nah. Jay said, damn, which one of y'all? Biddy, yeah, that's a munch. A munch. What is it? Ice and Spices. She said a munch. Is it Ice Spices? Ice Spice, whatever. Yes, a munch. You thought I was feeling you? E305 said it's horrible and didn't even hit. Yeah, a munch. Yeah, there was a munch. I just learned about this. There's really dudes that's doing this and they proud of it. Yeah, I went over there and got to eat that box, Oh man, we would roast one of our friends when we found out about this foolery. Oh man. Mad villain and why hell no, she gonna drop that neck, brother. I'm telling you, listen to women. They'll tell you. And I'm sitting there listening like, what? Like, it's really dudes out there that do that? Don't be that guy. But of course, this was she wasn't lying. I know dudes who brag about doing. Yeah, that's some wow mess. It's wow. It's just crazy work, bro. Part-time lover. Oh, that's a great song. I'm not even going to attempt to sing it, but I'm a huge fan of H-Town. If you guys don't know that old H-Town, the New Jack Swing era, Guy, Aaron Hall, Jodeci, Bobby Brown, that's one of my favorite time capsules of music, right? And that H-Town song from Above the Rim, If You Don't Mind, I'll Be a Part-Time Lover, that's a great song. Yeah, it's a great song. So, what Jay said, y'all are down bad in the States. Cortez said, pray for the brothers. Yeah, I was like, man, that's crazy. Dude's really doing that. That's a damn shame, man. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, man, villain in white, H-Town was fired. Yeah, man. Hey, I love H-Town, man. Cold. Oh, that's some crazy mess. You a eater or a munch. That's hilarious. That is a hilarious thing. So yeah, so that's just a couple of things, man, that can help you in regards to being better with women. I know there's more, but I just put together those things that I think would help a lot of guys. Because some of the things you cannot control, like your height, we understand that, weenus size, pause. But but you got to make do with what God has given you, right? And I guess if you can excel in those other areas, you'll be good. And trust and believe, if you have money, a lot of money, none of that shit matters. At the end of the day, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. You know what I'm saying? It's funny. People clown Rick Ross every time he gets with a new girl or whatever. Oh man, how are these women attracted to Rick Ross? You know, he always dancing with his shirt off and his stomach and whatever. The women that's with Rick Ross that are around him and have access to Rick Ross, they could give a good god dang about Rick Ross being chubby because they see how Rick Ross is living. So any woman that was with Rick Ross, they probably were treated very well, got to go shopping, you know what I'm saying? Spend, nights in that big ass mansion that the brother got, chilling, going on trips. And then when he's done with her, he sent her back to the streets. But she don't feel like it's a loss because she got treated well. What, you thought that Rick Ross was going to marry you? No. But yeah, money, like this, man, villain. Money is the great equalizer. But we talk about the other things because the majority of men won't get rich, right? So we have to talk about other things. So yeah, but if you're a rich guy and you're well off, you're doing good for yourself, none of that stuff matters. Women will lie and say, well, money ain't everything, or you can't just bring money to the table. You absolutely can. So I'm a realist. I told y'all, and you don't need women to acknowledge this. Just because you have money don't mean that you can get any, the women that you want. Yes, it does. It does. Okay. So we're not gonna lie here. We see how the women and a lot of these women out here with the climate. If you got with the bag, as they say, you can hit that. So, oh man, let's see here. IQS with the $5 super chat says, "I got to drop 5 to break the drought." Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. Fellas, don't be a professional muncher because we will roast you. Yeah, man. Don't admit to that in the comment section, man. That is, I love that phrase, nasty work. Crazy work. I got that from the New York folks. That is nasty work. If you a munch. Neville, thank you, brother. Hirschfield, with the $5 super chat. Thank you, man. Y'all boys broke the drought. E305, besides, ain't no women want a broomstick up them. What? Wow. Let's see here. Hitflix, I'm quite sure Rick Ross Wallet is very handsome. Yeah, he don't care nothing about that shit. Jake says, I'm in a bind, Nate. Yeah, man. Nate, I mean, some woman said, y'all might not know this, but that's how some of y'all got Christmas presents when you was young. Nate don't care. Nate go get his. Oh man, we did with 3 hours. This is great. And we still about to get to this prison stuff here in a second. But this one was funny. Don't be this guy, man. And I'm telling y'all right now, do not be a guy like this.
It's gonna be 1 check or 2 checks?
Am I getting lucky tonight?
Not at all.
2 checks.
2 checks.
I'll choke you, but I ain't no.
He asked that woman, I'm going to get lucky tonight. She said no. And he took about 2 checks. Brother, you taking this woman out on the first date, pay the fuck. I was going to cuss. Pay the bill. God, dog, you ain't got to see her again. And if you was going into the date expecting her to give you some booty in exchange for a nice steak dinner, something wrong with you. If something transpired, cool. But don't be going on these damn dates expecting to get an even trade. Pay for the damn dinner and move along. And don't be holding it over her head. Somebody, am I going to get something? I know this is a skit. I understand it. But there are literally guys going out there saying stuff like this. Well, you ain't even gave me a kiss or held my hand on the date. And then he talking about, let's split the check. Like, brother, stop. If you can't pay for a first date, are you trying to punish a woman for not giving you some booty? Something wrong with you. Don't be that guy. I said, put that out there. Stop. What's it? Reese said, dang, those DS. Man, see. She is a gorgeous young woman. I would say that. So Benny from Boston said, cornball. You don't even need to date a woman to have an adult fun. She would have done that regardless. It's funny. IQ said fake Brazilian shirt. Well, when I was in Brazil, I grabbed what is it, the Flamingos or whatever, the soccer shirt. Dr. Evil Genius said, I'm not mad at the guy. It's not that she said no, it was her attitude as she said it. But again, that's accountability. You the one that took her out. How'd she get that far? You liked her at some point, but the date went bad. And she's like, hey, not at all. But pay the damn. You ain't got to see the woman again. If it didn't go well, pay the check. Get your ass out of there. Trey says, I'm tired of the skits, though. Yeah, but they kind of, based off of reality. So next generation show, don't be a lame for clicks and views, fellas. Yeah. Ray said, that's funny. Yeah, it was funny. Trey says she's definitely got them lips on her, y'all wilding. See? But she is an attractive young woman. I'll say that much. All right, let's take a quick break, and I'm going to come down, and we're about to break all these mass incarceration stats down. We got a full hour to do so. So hold on. Give me 1 second, and I'll be right back. Let's get to it. Yeah. Let's start here. Starting off hot. Honestly, so the conversation and the reason why I'm doing this, one of the main reasons why I'm breaking this down is because we always talk about how mass incarceration affects Black women on the dating market, right? So let's put things into perspective and start off hot. Let me bring this up for you guys real quick. Here we go. Let's take a look at the total black population. So currently, numbers just came out from the Census Bureau 2024, just did a review on this. In the United States, there's a total of 47.9 black people living here, and that includes all black people, all black women, all black men, Caribbean, from wherever, the continent, from America, so on and so forth. So the total never married population in the black community is 16.6, right? If you look here, the total black male population is 16.5 million, and that is black men 18 years and older. Never married is 8 million. Divorced and separated, 2.4 million. That total is 10.5 million black men who are never married, divorced, separated, and or widowed. So you can assume that those men are readily available to date, I guess. Total black female population, 18.4 million. Black, and this is for black women 18 years or older. Never married, 8.5 million. Divorced, separated, widowed, 4.6 million. That brings that total up to 13.1 million black women, right? So if you look at the bottom here, you guys can't see that. I think the banner is covering that. Hold on. So that's a difference of 2.6 million more black women, right? So this is what they're talking about, I guess. They're saying that the overage of black women is the reason why black women can't find a good man or on their level, so on and so forth. Let's keep going. Now, the total white population over 18 was 160 million. You see that difference compared to the black community? Y'all didn't, it's that many white people that live in the United States. And it's funny that every time we have these conversations about, black men need to, own as many businesses as white men and all that stuff, like how? Let's continue. Total white male population, and this is for over 18, 74 million. That's 46%. Total white female population is 86.8 million, and this is all approximates based off of the numbers from the CDC, Pew Research, and also the Census Bureau. So 54% to 46%. Married white men over the age of 18, of course, is 41 million. Crazy, right? That's 55.5% of white men that are married. Divorced, separated, widowed, 32.9 million. See that? And then divorced, separated, white men, you got that right there. That's 44.5%. So if you look there, I put the black woman numbers down there, 2.6 million, right? That's how many black women was left over. So the difference is you got 30.3 million more white men for black women to choose from. I'm just being petty here, man. So there you have it. So if you only got 2.6 million black women left over, you got 30.3 million white men to choose from. So what's the problem? How does mass incarceration affect black women? Because they got all these white men that are just waiting for black women to flip that switch and say that they're ready to date or divest out to white men, right? Simple. I don't know. It's easy, right? But I'm just playing. But from this 2.6 million black women that are left over, why is the black community always under the impression that all of these women are marriage material? Isn't there certain factors that go into how many black women are readily available? Because if you notice, I didn't even factor in the large amount of black women who identify as LGBTQ, right? It's far more of them than black men. So they cancel each other out. So that takes a significant chunk out of that 2.6 million. What about the black women who are overweight? 80% of black women, about 55% of black women are obese. 80% are, 80% are overweight, and 80% are overweight or obese. Let's just say that much. So what about those women in that 2.6 million category? What are some other factors? What about women, black women who just hate black men? What about black women who it's so many factors that go into disqualifying, and that's not to say that there's not some disqualifiers on black men's side. Of course there are, but if you look at the the probability and all that stuff, no, it doesn't play a factor. It's that simple. And also, when we're talking about mass incarceration, there's only a little over I say only, but 700,000 plus more black people that are incarcerated. And I already told you about the black male population. That's a small percentage. So it's very simple. But I want to be clear. We have a lot of black women that say that they want to marry out or expand their options. So stop focusing on black men when you say that there's not enough eligible black men to date and or marry. There absolutely is. But if your intention is to tell black men that I want to date out or I'm expanding my options, then why haven't you been able to do that with all of those white men that are single, never married? That should be easy, right? It's about 30.3 million white men that are never, well, let me say this, single, never married, divorced, separated, widowed. So you got your pick of the litter. That should be simple, right? I mean, just makes sense to me. But anyway, let's get into that was petty me. But I was just going over the numbers here. This is from 2021 in regards to marriages, 55.5%. You guys just seen me put those numbers down there for white men, marriage rates. But let's look at some quick facts in regards to mass incarceration. And don't worry, everything's going to make sense. I'm just giving y'all a little quick blueprint. So if that brother was there, this is from the one that put those comments under my post. This is a chart from, look at here, from the Prison Policy Initiative, and this is the organization that compiles all of the information from the FBI, all the criminal reporting bureaus. Everything is vetted through the Prison Policy, right? It is an initiative, research and activist organization focused on issues related to mass incarceration. So all they do is focus on that. So the big picture, and the reason why we have this discussion of mass incarceration in the United States is because the number of people locked up here on any given day is 1.9 million. People in federal or state prisons is 1.26 million. People in local jails, 514,000. And U.S. incarceration rate is 664 per 100,000 people. This is the highest of any country in the world. So when we start talking about mass incarceration, the way that they report these things and why we call it that is because of the fact that they're getting the information from the world view, not just from the United States and black people. However, it does trickle down because black men in particular are over policed. They're over, imprisoned. We know how the numbers break down. So that's why this mass incarceration conversation tends to trickle down to the black community, because we look at it and say, well, if the United States leads, in prison people, the imprisoned population, then who's one of the highest groups? It's black people at 35%, right? So that's why mass incarceration is always attributed to black women not being able to find a good black man, because the black community is under the impression that all black men or half of black men are incarcerated, when it's not true. If we only have 1.9 million, I could say that tongue in cheek, but 1.9 million people incarcerated, and I'm saying people, that's kids too, juvenile detention centers, all of that. And there's about 335 million people that actually live in the United States. I mean, it's simple math. There's a small percentage of people that are currently incarcerated. And also look at the black male population. If there's 21 million black men walking around here and only 700,000 black people are currently in prison, right? That's a small percentage once again. And the reason why I'm not using them because I have videos on that. And then also, if you look at, let's say that 1.9 million was all attributed to black men. That will still be a small percentage. That makes sense? So yeah. So let's keep going. I want y'all to see this number here because we never discussed this. Hold on. The big picture says the state with the highest incarceration rate is Louisiana. It's 1,094 people per 100,000 people. And then state with the lowest incarceration rate is Massachusetts, 275 people per 100,000. And then Canada's incarceration rate, for comparison, is 104 per 100,000 people. So yeah, so that's why we report on mass incarceration. Now, if you look at black folks, over the last 50 years, state and federal prison population has grown by about 700%. Prison incarceration for black people was 196,000 per 100,000 people. For white people, was 214. So again, that's not saying black men is black people. Even though there's a small percentage of black women who represent that number, they're still included in that, right? So yeah, so let's see here. It's a bunch of stuff on here, man, that's pretty fascinating. I won't go through it all, but I did want to go over some money. So following the money of mass incarceration, the cost of running the criminal legal system every year, and this is from 2017, $182 billion. Cost of prisons, jails, probation, and parole, $81 billion. Cost of court systems, $29 billion. Cost of policing, $63.2 billion. Costs paid by incarcerated people and their families, things like phone calls, $2.9 billion. Number of companies profiting from mass incarceration today, 4,100. Share of incarcerated people held in private prison or jail, 8%. My goodness. So prison is big business in the United States, especially in Texas. Like, my goodness. So now let's talk about some history. And this is from the Prison Policy Organization. Let's see here. And this is from 2018. Let's take a look. So you've heard the phrase mass incarceration, but what does it really mean? Simply put, it is shorthand for the fact that U.S. incarcerates more people than any nation in the world, including China. And the U.S. is also the leader in prison population rate. America's approach to punishment often lacks a public safety rationale. This disproportionately affects minorities and inflicts overly harsh sentences. So again, we have to look at it from a world view. Mass incarceration. This is not just applied to black folks. So let's continue. So mass incarceration does rip apart families and communities. Disproportionately hurts people of color and costs taxpayers $260 billion a year. At the same time, crime continues to drop to 30-year lows, and harsh punishments aren't the reason. The Brennan Center works to expose the huge social and economic costs of mass incarceration. We debunk false claims about the rising crime. We fight reforms to sentencing and bail. And we develop transformative legislative proposals like the Reverse Mass Incarceration Act. So there's a bunch of things going on behind the scene that you don't hear a lot of people focus on. Now, to end mass incarceration, the United States has less than 5% of the world's population, yet nearly 25% of its prisoners. That's crazy. Mass incarceration has crushing consequences, racial, economic, social, and it doesn't make us safer. The Brennan Center creates innovative solutions driven by data to end mass incarceration, which is a good thing. me see if it's any here thing on here. So this is one of the points that I wanted to make in regards to why mass incarceration does not affect Black women's dating options. The United States remained fully in the era of mass incarceration. The 25% decline in the total prison population since 2009 follows a nearly 700% buildup in imprisonment since 1972. The prison population in 2021 was nearly 6 times as large as 50 years ago before the mass incarceration. And in 2022, the prison population expanded. All right, so let's continue. I don't need to go through that. And again, recently, however, there's been some incremental progress in reducing mass incarceration. In the last decade, prison populations have declined by 10%. Racial disparities in the prison population has also fallen. This is the product of bipartisan consensus that mass incarceration is a mistake. Let's see here. And this is from the Pew Research Center that was published in 2020. What the data says and doesn't say about crime in the United States. And this is when President Trump was in. Let me show y'all real quick. So, and this is to address the young man. I know he's still watching, but he asked about FBI data and stuff like that. But this information encompasses everything. So, how have crime rates in the U.S. changed over time? Both the FBI and BJS data show dramatic declines in U.S. violent and property crime rates since the early 1990s, when crime spiked across much of the nation. U.S. violent and property crime rates have plunged since the 1990s, regardless of the data source. So that's why I told people not to assume that I'm just going to the FBI numbers. If you look here, this is from the FBI and the Bureau of Justice Statistics. So trends in violent crime, they're reported by the FBI, has decreased from 1993 to 2019. And this is based off of the per 100,000 or per 100,000 people. In the first column, 747 versus 379 in 2019. And then the violent victimizations per 1,000 people per ages 12 plus from BJS, 79.8 to 21, so on and so forth. Property crimes went down, and the FBI reported that. And also the BJS Bureau of Justice Statistics reported the same thing. So there's more info that mass incarceration is slowly declining. But, and again, when you have your perceptions, and I'm going to read what old boy said again. And like I said, I'm glad that he put that in there because I could use this as a springboard, right? I don't think he knew I had all this stuff ready to discuss, but it is what it is. So he said, I disagree. The benchmark always rises. He said, look at California, so war. People are not reporting to the police anymore. But this is just actually a consensus that they got from 2000 to 2020. So how do Americans, let me make that wider, because I knew this was going to come up. Somebody's going to question the statistics. And there's a reason why, because it says, how do Americans perceive crime in their country? Americans tend to believe that crime is up. Go figure. Just like old boy said, even when the data shows it is down. So where have we heard this kind of concept before? In the Black community, when we're discussing Black men and if Black men are doing well. The same thing happens when you start discussing prison rates, because the majority of Americans think that the crime rate is higher than it actually is, because they're looking based off of either where they live, their state, their city, so on and so forth. But you have to include the whole nation, right? So that's why. And I'm going to go over here this in a second. Here we go. So take a look. Americans tend to believe crime is up nationally, less so socially. The percentage of adults who say there's more crime than there was a year ago. So see that it says in their area. So they think that it's higher percentage of adults. 38%. And then in the US, they say 78%. 78% believe that crime is up. And he also said the data wasn't available for 2012. That's why you guys see that gap right here. So yeah, so a study was done by Gallup. So I just wanted to be clear on that. See, what does it say? Ray said, I noticed that as well. I like these put together black women, but some of them say I'm not black enough and like Thuggish guys. Oh, you must be catching up. Cortez Smith said, Golden Child, there was a recent viral video of a prisoner who deleted several people that black women were finding order over. He was short and fat. Oh, I seen it. I think I talked about that too. Crazy. So, and I want to be clear with the black community. Nobody's downplaying the issues that we have with the justice system, but I want you guys to see this. There were no major differences, and this is from the Census Bureau, my bad. There were no major differences in victimization rates between male and female respondents or between those who identified as white, black, or Hispanic. But the victimization rate among Asian Americans was substantially lower than among other racial and ethnic groups. So there were no differences. In 2019, this is what I want to read. Those who are male, younger people, and those who are black accounted for considerably larger shares of perceived offenders in violent incidents than their prospective shares of the U.S. population. As with all surveys, however, there are several potential sources of error, including the possibility that crime victims' perceptions are incorrect. So who does that describe? Listen to what I said here. Those who are male, younger people, and those who are black accounted for considerably larger shares of perceived offenders. I just described black men, right? So that stigma still follows us today, even in our own black community, which is why you hear a lot of black people refer to the mass incarceration, because they automatically believe that black men are offenders, are more violent than the stats actually show. That's why they said that crime victims' perceptions may be incorrect, and they actually are. Does that make sense, guys? We got 122 folks in here. That just explained why people have the outlook that they have about black men, because there's a perceived threat there. It's not just black women. It's not just the black community. That is society. So that's why black men have to be careful and be on guard, and we don't have time to be worrying about these frivolous conversations, because we are over-policed, because people always assume the worst. But black women, y'all better pay attention, because y'all prison numbers have went up, and y'all crime rates are significantly going up as well. Y'all always in the news for something. So y'all better pay attention. I left this in there on accident. That's my escrow stuff. Let's look at some figures here. So this just supports what I told you guys. You've seen this before, but this is specifically for women. And that's why I brought this up. The United States is one of the top incarcerators of women in the world. Changing that will require knowing where the 191,000 incarcerated women fall within our decentralized and overlapping systems of mass incarceration. So even, of course, men in general are more violent, do more violent issues and get in prison at a higher rate. We still have the highest number of women who are incarcerated as well. All right, let's continue. Woo. And this is just a breakdown, local jails, state prisons, youth, immigration detention, federal prisons, so on and so forth. And it also breaks down by crime, violent, property, drug, public order, not convicted, so on and so forth. You can see all this stuff on prisonpolicy.org. I'll put it in there. Now, this is the racial disparities in 2019 per 100 people. There's a black folks. We are still overly policed and heavily incarcerated compared to other races of people. You guys see that? So if the total prison incarceration rate is 419 per 100,000, the black community actually eclipses that. And the reason why this sticks out is because we only represent about 14% of the population, right? So that's why we're having this conversation. And this was the one that I posted. So the U.S. crime rates continue to fall, and preliminary data indicate crime likely to hit a 60-year low in 2023. So the projections are doing well. The last time crime rates were this low was 1963. You guys see that? Everything is slowly going down. It's pretty good. Also, contrary to myth, people incarcerated for violent offenses are released are least likely to be arrested again. So basically what you're looking at here is is a chart, because the narrative is that people who are who get released are more likely to go back to jail. So rearrested for similar offense within 3 years from prison release. So for drug, it is the highest at 51. And I'll read this here. By almost any measure, people who are released after serving time in prison for violent offenses are the least likely to reoffend. And that is compared to drug, public order, and property crimes. Right here, this yellow, that is violent offenses. So it says least likely to be rearrested for any offense, least likely to be convicted again, least likely to be incarcerated again, and least likely to be sentenced to prison again. And that's for people who commit violent crime. So that's something that people probably didn't know. Now, 1 in 5 incarcerated people is locked up for a drug offense. 1 in 5. 361,000 people for drug offenses on any given day. In state prisons, local jails, federal, youth, Indian county jails, military. And this is just for the women. And they were just telling you how many correctional systems that encompass the women's numbers, the 446, the 27 federal prisons, and 3,116 local jails, so on and so forth. And these are the key statistics that I wanted you guys to see and be aware of during this political season. Percentage of Black Americans in the general population, 13% as reported in 2021. It's about 14% now. Percentage of people in prison are in jail who are Black, 37%. Prison incarceration rate for Native people and versus nation as a whole, 763 per 350 per 100,000. Percentage of people serving life without parole or virtual life sentences who are Black is 48%, which is insane. And then a number of arrests of Black Americans in 2018 was 2.8 million. So even if you extrapolate that out to all Black men, with 21 million Black people, Black men living in the United States, that's still a small percentage. All Black men are not in prison or in jail. And also, at the bottom there, you see percents. Can y'all see that? Percent of people who are on probation or parole who are Black is 30%. So that's another 70% that's out there. But we account for 30% of the people who are on probation or parole. Let's see here. Oh, and this is the what I reported more recently about the 1 in 5. So if you look there, for Black men, the lifetime risk of imprisonment fell from 1 in 3 for those born in 1981 to 1 in 5 for those born in 2001. 20-year difference. This 42% reduction outpaced the 29% reduction in lifetime imprisonment for white men and the 17% reduction for Latinx men. Okay? So Black men are doing well. Keep staying out of prison. And these are the historical projections for the rate of the decline. You can see from 2098. So we're right here at the cusp, that red, where the green and red or Black and red meets. that is 2021. And this is specifically for state and federal prison. It's a little under, it's about 1.1, 1.2 million. Y'all see that? All the way down. So we have some good projections, man. And then let's go to the female imprisonment rates. Black women are doing very well with this. 70% decrease from 2000 to 2021, which is a 70% decrease. That's absolutely crazy. That's great. Prisoners in 2021, statistical tables. This is from the Bureau of Justice Statistics. Let's see here. I got that one. Oh, yeah. So, okay, cool. So I just wanted to go over that stuff real quick. But I do want to open up the website so I can show you guys how to navigate this so you can get the information for yourselves. And these are the 10 myths about mass incarceration. Shit. Okay, that'll work. And I'm going to give y'all the link right here, so you can do your own research. I know y'all will enjoy this. So you're going to be thinking that these are my statistics. Absolutely not. There you go. So this is it. This will take you directly to this page that I'm looking at. So 10 myths about mass incarceration. It just breaks down a couple things that people didn't probably know. So the first myth, private prisons are the corrupt heart of mass incarceration. It says, in fact, just 8% of all incarcerated people are here in private prisons. And the reason why I say private prisons is because those are the ones that people discuss in regards to making money and why they want more people to be in prison, because it's free labor. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard about this. And yes, a split gem, I reported on that. I actually put a video out, clipped it up. Most exonerated is about 59% for black men. 59% is the rate of most exonerated. So yes, black men do have a valid argument when they say, well, you know, though out of those many black men that are currently incarcerated, there's a strong possibility that a lot of those guys are actually innocent. So, and then you can see here, only 8% of confined people are held in private prisons. Just talked about that. The second myth, prison are factories behind fences that exist to provide companies with huge slave labor force. I don't think that perception is going to go anywhere, but it's, you know, less than 1% are employed by private companies. So you guys can read more on that. So releasing nonviolent drug offenders, which is one of the things that we discuss in society now, would end mass incarceration. So drug offenses still account for 360,000 people, and drug convictions remain a defining feature of the federal prison system. But nevertheless, 4 out of 5 people in prison or jail are locked up for something other than a drug offense. I just showed you guys the graph in regards to the 1 in 5. So that's what they're referring to. So here you go, 1 in 5. Also, and I like this one. This is one of the good ones. So the fourth myth, by definition, violent crime involves physical harm. So this was actually education for me as well. And hopefully you guys learned something too. So listen, the distinction between violent and nonviolent crime means less than you might think. In fact, these terms are so widely misused that they are generally unhelpful in a policy context. In the public discourse about crime, people typically use violent and nonviolent as substitute for serious versus non-serious criminal acts. That alone is a fallacy. But worse, these terms are also used as coded, often racialized language to label individuals inherently dangerous versus non-dangerous. Where does that apply? To black men, right? Let's continue. In reality, state and federal laws apply the term violent to a surprisingly wide range of criminal acts, including many that don't involve physical harm. I learned something new while I was reading this, right? In some cases, in some states, purse snatching, manufacturing methamphetamines, and stealing drugs are considered violent crimes. Burglary is generally considered a property crime, but an array of state and federal laws classify burglary as a violent crime in certain situations, such as when it occurs at night, in a residence, or with a weapon present. So even if the building was unoccupied, someone convicted of burglary could be punished for a violent crime and end up with a long prison sentence and a violent record. Is that news to you guys? When I heard the term violent crime, I always assumed that was somebody like swinging on somebody or somebody was injured, shot, something like that. I didn't know this until I read the prison policy. But like I said, y'all some intelligent folks. You may know, you may be in the field. I didn't know. So, man, Reed Johnson says, sounds like Jim Crow tactics. Yeah, you got a violent crime record. You're less likely to get hired. It's all types of stuff. So, man. Terrell Evans, they practice that in Harris County. I know that as a fact. I'm pretty sure. Dr. Evil Genius says, not news to me at all. Okay, cool. Like I said, man, hey, that's why I read. You got it, brother. I'm glad. Let's see here. So that's basically what they were just saying. It's other mid-prison, people in prison for violent or sexual crimes are too dangerous to be released. And this is just, it goes into detail on all types of stuff. I don't want to read that one out loud. I don't know if I get dinged for that, but yes, it's so much, man. It's just so much information. But you guys have the link to go over this information yourselves. Let me get this out of here. No. Let's look for something else. Hold on. Here we go. That's what I look. This is a great mass incarceration breakdown. Check this out. So it says mass incarceration directly impacts millions of people, but just how many and what ways? So currently incarcerated, that means people who are not accessible to whoever, 1.9 million. Formerly incarcerated in state or federal prison, 4.9 million Americans. Ever convicted of a felony, 19 million. Have a criminal record, 79 million or more. Have an immediate family member who has ever been to prison or jail, 113 million adults. That's pretty crazy. So if you look at the total population of the United States is what? 334 million, and you have 113 million adults who have a family member who has been to prison or jail, 113 million. So that's why we talk about mass incarceration, because don't nobody do it like the United States. And then the people that are convicted of a felony was 19 million, formerly incarcerated, 4.9 million. My goodness, it's not just all black men. And this is an important graph. So incarceration is just one piece of the much larger system of correctional control. The U.S. justice system controls over 5.7 million people, not black men, people, more than half of whom are on probation. So if you look at the numbers, 2.9 million are on probation, 798,000 are on parole, and correctional facilities, as you guys know, is 1.9 million. So for some odd reason, I've seen people talk about, well, how many black men are on parole probation, so on and so forth. Excuse me. And that's what affects black women dating options. But if you put 5.7 million in the 21 million black men that are living in the States, that's a significant amount, right? But it would still be 3/4 of black men that are free. I mean, I don't know what else to tell y'all. So they're going to keep trying to put this stuff on black men to make it seem like we're inherently dangerous, but it's not true. So those are the numbers for I think somebody asked me about this, 2.9 million, probation, all that type of stuff. So there you have it. Whoever was that, I hope you watch it. So yeah, so there you go. Cool. So we good. So yeah, I just wanted to go over that website. I typically do this because I know you guys, you always want to, do some more research and look at some of the nuances and, kind of get familiar with the information. So this is a good thing. You have the link in the description. Hopefully I was able to break all those numbers down for you guys and got the most important parts. Trust me, it goes far more extensive than I put on the screen. We would have probably been here all day. But yeah, you guys can do the research for your own. But the bottom line is that no, mass incarceration does not affect black women's dating options. For one, there's more than enough black men that are out there, more than enough black men that make $100,000 when compared to black women. What is it? 57% of black men are in the middle class or higher. I mean, come on, man. We got to stop using that excuse, black community, and saying that mass incarceration is the reason why black women are single. It's not. It's absolutely not. If that was the case, then 79% of black men wouldn't be married to black women. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. We out there, but I want black women to have freedom of choice. If they feel that the grass is greener with another race of men, I just told you guys that 30.3 million white men are single, never married, divorced, separated, or widowed. So you have no reason to complain, right? If there's no black men. It's all on you. So, I mean, it's up to y'all. So I'm definitely not here to hold y'all back from finding a white dude because black men going to be just fine. It's not, I mean, black men will be fine. So we'll leave it at that, man. So yeah, so again, thank you to everybody who sent in cash apps and super chats. Let me make sure the cash app didn't get hit. Okay, I'm good. For everybody who sent in the super chats, man, I know Wednesday shows are kind of slower than the Mondays, but I think this was an amazing show. We almost went another 4 hours, man. That is crazy. But I had a great time, man, sharing some of those stories. And I'm going to try and put out another video here in a second. Give me a couple hours because the Lakers are off. We had a 3-day off break. I said we. I'm part of the team too. So I'm going to try and put out another video here in a second. So you guys get the full picture as I'm telling black men to stay out of a black woman's business when she ain't even talking about black men. This next one is going to be good. I promise you that much. But again, thank you to everybody who joined. This was a great show. 4 hours. My goodness. Man, I'm going to go ahead and relax a little bit, man. They're going to give me something to eat and go ahead and chill. Oh, quiet storm on the way out, man. I appreciate it. $10 super chat said, medium, I'm a little concerned. What other topics do you have set up in the near future? I think you have thoroughly debunked every typical stereotype multiple times in the past 3-6 months. Yeah, man. And the sad thing is I have to keep somehow regurgitating certain information, but I have to bring up different parts of it because I hear something or somebody talking about it that's trying to degrade black men. So I have to revisit, look at the updates and so on and so forth, man. But as long as the information is getting pushed out there, I mean, that's amazing. You just said that some, what did you say? Your nephew had quoted some of the information. I've got multiple DMs from people saying, man, this is on point. I didn't know this. I greatly appreciate it. You're doing the Lord's work out here. So yeah, but we'll definitely have more topics. I'm trying to focus the conversation more so on lowering stress levels, protecting our peace, black men, growing, wealth building. Even though I'm not an expert in the wealth building area, but I'm pretty you guys see how I break it down as best possible because I have a lot of help behind the scenes when it comes to that. Yeah, so it's a lot more that we could discuss. Just focus on us being better men. And I think that's ultimately where I wanted to take this platform, but I got caught up because people just weren't getting it. So we started focusing on the things that matter. So now that, like you said, we discussed a lot of different things, debunked a lot of different things. So now it's time to start focusing on growth. And I think it's never a shortage of material to discuss about that. I'll say that much. But yeah. So thank you, IQS, for sending that on the way out. We got Mr. Donnie Mack. Oh, he said my youngest brother. My bad, brother. Yeah, your youngest brother. Donnie Mack. Cool. Okay, catch the replay. Okay, cool. And Life is Good said first time joining and watching, and we'll be sure to tune in for the next live. I will be doing my homework to catch up on all I don't know to see where I need to be, my brother. Lots to learn. I see, man, there's always lots to learn. Same thing with me, man. Like I said, I learned from reading the prison policy. I didn't know that's how they reported violent crimes. So, and man, it's eye-opening to me. It was definitely eye-opening. I'm not going to say, man. IQS said, yes, I'm good with that, brother. Keep cooking. Oh, yeah, man. We go definitely travel, too. I know you. I don't know if you're still in Japan. That was you in Japan, right? Yeah, I'm still cooking. So I want to talk about travel and different experiences, man. I can't wait. It's going to be great. A lot of good things coming up, man. So I'm excited about the space, man. But I appreciate the support, y'all. And I'm going to leave you with, of course, on the way out, we got to play this.
Isn't he dusty? Isn't he full of dust? Isn't he ashy?
I love that. And then we go ahead and end it off with this.
You let him hit it raw. You didn't have second thoughts. Now you a single mom. Now you a single mom. You said I'ma have this kid. Don't care if he's here or not. But now you a single mom. Now you a single mom. You let him hit it raw. You didn't have second thoughts. Now you a single mom. Now you a single mom. You said I'ma have this kid. Don't care if he's here or not. But now you a single mom. Now you a single mom.
That song is so good, man. That dude is a fool, man. Let's go ahead and get out of here, man. God bless you all, man. Be safe, eat healthy. And until next time, man, next week, I got y'all on Monday. I'm going to have a great show planned for you all. But until then, man, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy this rest of your week. And I'll definitely be back here on Monday. Appreciate the support. Thank y'all. Media Man out. Peace.